You're listening to the Death Rattle Crew, a Hearthstone podcast.
DRC, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Death Rattle Crew, a weekly Hearthstone podcast. This is episode 13. I'm Mike Tattoo Hearn, and I'm joined by, as always, by first Matt Mushu Hill.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm
Good.
alive.
And second, we have Fabio Tarfasu Mesters. I don't know why.
Hello, everyone.
It's your other name. I always want to say. I always want to say Fabio Mascarpone. I do.
Just call me Don.
Okay, we'll just do that from now on. And
Technically, Don is my gamer name. It's just on Battle.net. I'm called Tarfasu.
sure.
Technically, I have 6 names. It's just
That's my. No, it is true. I am thinking about rebranding myself. I just haven't decided yet, like which name I want to adapt.
I like that.
I do need a new name. That you are right. So yeah.
Well, we will we'll have to get some emails about that, see what people think. But but last we have a full house today because last we have Mr. Avery. How you doing, sir?
Hey, everything's going great. It's been a great month.
I don't think that was like a deserving introduction. You need more of a presenting the champion, the number one,
The one
Top-
hit lord.
top 100 NA legend for the season of April, Avery. You.
Yeah.
Woohoo! So yeah, you've
Thanks,
got
guys.
you've got enough points to get into last call, correct?
Yep, I do.
Awesome. So definitely looking forward to seeing you there. That's going to be exciting.
I hope so. It's gonna be tough, but we'll just see how it goes.
Come on, you'll be the next Firebat. Come on.
I don't think so, man.
Uh-uh.
I've only got to prepare. So better start now.
That's right.
I can't play Freeze Mage, so I can't be Firebet.
You should
That's
do.
the defining feature.
I've been struggling so hard with freeze wage as well. It's just
It's difficult.
it's not.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the other thing too is go ahead. You want to make a plug for some writing you've been doing.
Oh, not yet, but basically I got accepted into writing for Tempo Storm.
Okay.
So I have not actually written or submitted or got anything published yet, but if I ever do, guys, please check out the article.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll keep everyone updated. Hope to have you on the show more often. So
Yeah, sure.
definitely, yeah, you're more than welcome to plug there, and folks, please go check out that website. So other than that, Matt, what's what was your standings this last month? I know you were making the push. And...
I failed miserably. I really like 2 weeks ago when Tom was still with us. We were talking about what ranks we're at, and you guys like 9, 7, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm ranked 4. I think I might have even been ranked 3, and I got to basically I didn't get to legend. I spent most of my time at rank 2, and then the TLDR is I got to rank 1 and was being promoted. I was playing a game in rank 1 when the season ended, and it flashed up on my screen in the game, which was very annoying. It's like this is what you earned last season. I was so I fell short, and I bowed down to the master, the young Avery. Just teach me, senpai.
Stop playing Face Hunter. That's how they hit legend. Don't play Face Hunter.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm done. I'm out.
And Don, what's been going on with you?
I've been struggling to get into Gold League. It's been fun.
Okay.
It's like I don't know. I actually tried last season to kind of get back to back to the kind of rank where you feel proud announcing your rank.
Sure.
So everything above 15 basically.
Right.
It's like no, yeah, and I didn't quite manage because I ran into so many aggro decks.
Yeah.
And,
It's
I
alright.
switched over to my anti-aggro. I tried an OTK priest, Divine Spirit Inner Fire kind of deal.
Yeah.
Worked out against the kind of aggro decks that don't run any good removal anymore, but failed against mid game, of course, mid range. Yeah.
Speaking of OTK Priest, I saw an interesting thing the other day. Like, for those of you trying to conquer heroic Nefarian, I saw someone who had just buffed his there's like a Death Lord or something to like over 60 attack, and you can just one hit Nefarian.
Yeah.
It's just skip like the second and third phase. It's just like just cheese the crap out of him.
It's dirty.
And that's the thing that I kind of realized in total about Red Cloud Mountain is that Priest was a very good pick for a lot of the encounters. He's like,
yes, I agree. Yeah,
it was just
a lot of
strong in general
Sure.
against a lot of the stuff that they had.
Yeah, especially the heroics. I've noticed that
Yeah.
as well. I've got 3 of the last bosses and then I'll have them all done. But I got caught up except for those, and a lot of them priest. Yeah, that was the way to go.
I've seen like the flood of the Blackrock Mountain card backs for the heroic in the ladder the past 2 days.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I don't think it's as cool as the Naxxramas one.
No, I was rocking the Naxxramas one for a long time. Yeah.
I don't know. I've been more of a fan of just rocking the original card back recently because I think that's really scary. If you queue into someone using the original card back,
yeah, you think they're a Smurf or they're a new player.
This guy's a badass. Why is he? Anyone at this rank should have like all of them. What's he doing? That's the real scary thing.
You think he's a new player who's just awesome, who's just got so much skill that he ranked up so fast.
Right.
During his first season in the game, basically. That's my first thought.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who are like high legends who use whose names are like, say their names aren't like known by people or whatever. They use the original card back when they are ranking up the legend because they don't want to like look like they're legit. Basically.
Oh, sure.
They want to look like they've never been legend before.
Try to get those misplays. Yeah.
Gotta avoid those using those golden heroes though. I mean, that's sort of like
What is a straight up giveaway?
Original card back, Golden Warlock. Nah, you played this game before.
It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, this season I stopped at rank 9. I made a quick push, I guess, kind of in the middle, and really jumped ranks quick. And I was playing a lot of mid range paladin, and my win rates was I think I need to pull it up, but it was something like 64% or something. So
wow.
I mean, it's really good win percent. I just need to put in more time.
You need to do it over a larger sample of games, so it's just so you get up.
Right, and I'm interested to see once I hit that rank 5 wall, see how well it did. But I had a little over 100 games into it, so but we'll see. We'll see what the season brings. So I'm looking forward to that. But
get your grind on.
That's right. So other than that, we will go ahead and get into meta-anatomy. Welcome to Meta-Anatomy, your one weekly stop for everything meta in Hearthstone. I'm Tak2, joined by Terafasu, Avery, and Mushu. So, gentlemen, we're going to talk about the last 6 cards released with BRM for the last wing, and we'll just jump right into it. And we'll start with the first one here. First is a Black Wing Corruptor, is a 5/4 for 5. Text reads, Battle Cry, if you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage. I love this card. Like this is like being able to play a shaman deck and not have to play shaman.
Yeah, I was gonna
no, because nobody wants to do that.
Right.
No, shaman is just shaman's just
so
not
hard.
a very good deck in general, right?
Yeah, comparatively, I would agree. Yeah.
I've been playing quite a lot of Blackwing Corruptor. Before the latest wing came out, I was of the opinion that no dragon deck can be played yet at its full potential because we are missing this card. That was like my mental prediction, and probably most people's mental prediction. And we're all right. This card is actually pretty insane. Just having the value of 3 damage is just so flexible.
I think what makes it so strong is that because the stat line is offensive, but the thing is that it brings its own removal with it. So it kind of protects itself. That's the thing. You can remove whatever would actually trade for it on the board, and then it's just uncontested at that state.
Yeah.
It challenges Lothep. It challenges opposing dragon consorts.
Mm.
It challenges Sludge Belchers. It challenges Tarusian. Yeah, a lot of 5/4 is a pretty decent size plus the 3 damage. It's just like a scaled down Fire Ellie, and Fire Ellie is pretty good. So,
yeah, but that was my fear with the Dragon decks, was it was going to be Dragonets. They kind of have to play like a ramp ish sort of, not completely, but a little bit. It I guess the major quote deck out there right now, or a hero that uses them, is the Paladin. And they don't really have the tools other than Dragon Consort to really ramp things out. But
no, yeah, that's true. And we're going to talk about that.
Right. And so some of the dragons they're big bodies and they cost quite a bit most of the time. But this gives you a removal and a body on the board. So it kind of breaks up all right, I'm playing a minion and hoping that you don't have removal so I could do something the next turn.
It's like you're putting yourself out there and then hoping your opponent doesn't have anything good.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this card plus Blackwing Technician will be definitely the core in any classes dragon decks. They're just both, if you get the dragon mechanic off. Okay, and there's one more card that may be the core depending on the class. Ren Black Ken, which we're going to talk about later.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about that. Yeah.
Just for the 3-drop and the 5-drop, if you play them with the dragon mechanic, they are so undercosted. They are so efficient for what they're doing. And yeah, they're definitely the very big reasons why you would play a dragon deck, because the supporting cards are very, very strong and very undercosted and very efficient.
Yeah, I feel like it's I don't know if it's expensive. I do like that you've got several turns to potentially pull into dragons, because I played a game yesterday with my dragon in deck, and I think we were 15. I had 15 cards left in my deck, and I still won. And we'll talk about this later, but I didn't pull one dragon, so I didn't get any of the I guess dragon mechanics out of it. That's just luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to happen from time to time.
Right.
Like I played the Cancer, the Face Hunter today, and I just had like opening hand of 4 3-drops, and it's just like you pretty much just lose.
GG.
You fall too far behind. Yeah, JoJo.
Yes, I agree with you, Avery. I think this is going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like it's so solid for its cost. I mean, honestly, like I'm not sure why we're spending so much time talking about this. It's just a cheaper Fire Ellie that there's no way this card is ever going to be bad at any point in the game of Hearthstone.
Sure.
We just have to. We just really have to get that across in as many different ways as we can.
Yeah,
7 different ways, and then people just be like, yeah, nah.
No, you're right. The card does speak for itself. Pretty much.
Arena wise though, probably not very good.
Sure.
The big D. Yeah,
sure.
It's
I mean, it is a common. Would you pick Stranglethorn Tiger over this?
Definitely.
I feel like I'll take the Tiger, right?
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I feel like
if you have a fairy, like one fairy dragon, one Azure Drake in your deck, would you take Corruptor?
No, I feel like you're gonna have to get like at least like 4. Probably like 3 or 4. Aim for like 10%.
Yeah, this is a safer end of your draft pick as far as arena goes.
Yeah,
it's like what you do is you draft the one fairy dragon, the one Azure Drake, one Blackwing Corruptor, and a Ren Black Hand, and you get both of them off in the same game.
And never play the dragons, right?
No, that's the 11 to the 12 wins. That's how you get your 12th win. It's like, I had a game where I, got Blackwing Corruptor off, and then on turn 7 he played Boom, I played Rend, and it was, bang bang boom, I won the game.
So I mean,
honestly, I think it's not bad for arena. Like it's not terrible. I would, in certain decks, I might consider picking this over Stranglethorn Tiger. Honestly, in the same way that you might consider picking Druid of the Fang a lot higher than you would, even if you only have like 2 or 3 beasts in your Druid deck, you might consider it. So it's not like unconsiderable to take Blackwing Corruptor, because this effect, dealing 3 damage, is so much more relevant in arena than constructed, and in constructed is insane. So imagine how good it is in arena, right? It's just,
and the thing is,
crazy.
The card in itself is not awful. It's not like when when you see like a secret popping up or something where you know you're not gonna take that because there's a very real chance that you will not end up playing a secret deck or a I don't know, a rush heavy kind of Murloc deck or something. It's like that's just not happening in Arena. And with this card, it's like even if you end up not getting a dragon deck, it's still
okay, right?
It's
Like
okay.
Yeah,
it's not the worst.
It's a mana more expensive than the typical vanilla 5/4.
You don't have to commit to this kind of tribe
Sure.
and then try to get lucky. So,
Yeah.
I think you're right though. I would take a tiger over this.
Yeah, I'm keen on the tiger. Just like as Fabio was saying before about it protects it from its own removal. There's nothing quite like being stealth to dodge a removal.
That's
yeah,
true.
that's true.
Yeah,
Sure.
fair enough.
All right. Well, so any other thoughts or forever hold your peace on the old Blackwing Corruptor?
It's insane. That's
Holding my
holding
peace.
Cringeworthy flavor text.
Yeah.
So what does it say? I'm so curious.
So it
I haven't
says
seen it yet.
he got his name when he gave Blackwing some comic books and rock and roll records.
That's so good.
I don't
That's
know.
so good, man. That's hilarious.
Not to mention audio cassettes, internet access, video games. What else?
And being friends with Matt, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or rather, this
Oh,
is Matt. Like-
cinema was youth corrupting at some point in the early 20s when it was the new shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Oh well. All right, so that's Blackwing Corruptor. We'll go on to the next one. I'm really excited to talk about this one. So this is the Dragonkin Sorcerer, a 3/5 for 4 dragon tribe. Text reads: whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain +1/+1.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have not played with this at all. If opponent say humility, does it get +1/+1?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. The effect triggers before the spell triggers. I
No,
looked
so
it
it,
up on
it
the-
also triggers if opponents targeted with things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the whole idea about this thing.
No.
No, yeah, I looked it up on the
right.
wiki. I'm pretty sure
No,
that's how it works.
Is
But
it
not with humility because that's them targeting it.
No, I'm talking about your opponent targeting Dragonkin. Does
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
grow?
No. I don't think it does with humility because it says whenever you target this. So I'm gonna assume. My money's on no.
so?
Wait.
Yeah, are you thinking when the player who plays it out of his hand, that's the person that can get the +1/+1 with spells, not an
I
opponent?
don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, I've only seen it played in a priest deck. I have not
I'm
seen
gonna look
actually
it up
paladin.
right now.
Let me look this up. Yeah. I
Yeah, we're all looking.
because I've read through this beforehand.
But like the wording was in my mind. The wording suggests that.
Oh yeah,
like,
This minion's triggered effect activates when the controlling player targets it with a spell. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
It will not activate from being targeted by an enemy spell. Okay.
Okay.
sure. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, it does not interact with AOE's, which I found was very interesting.
Yeah, it's got to be single targeted, right?
Yeah, I think that's the same. Like, in particularly, that was a big thing in at least the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG was all about like cards that target / don't target because AOE effects don't really say you there, Blackwing, you're dead. They're like everybody in that corner, you're all dead now. So
Yeah.
it hasn't singled anybody out there for the effect gets skipped.
Right. So I mean, how do priest decks? I feel like a dragon priest, if you will, and we kind of talked about this last week, Matt. I feel like this is a pretty decent card because there's a lot of options in the priest deck to buff this.
So basically, that's what I'm thinking. It's like basically you want a buff synergy from this, right?
Yeah. So
It's like,
I got
paladin.
ruffle stuff by this, like by like one that was just buffed to the absolute shit house, just like all of the priest cards into it, and just I think it ended up being like a 12, 14 or something like, and just wrecked me. But yeah, that's what happens if you leave it unattended to. So kids,
Sure.
I think it's a niche card.
I
It's
agree. Yes.
and
Which
that
is
was
like,
definitely a new
like,
circumstance.
It's more of a like an OTK Violet teacher, basically.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's a
okay.
good way to describe it, stats wise.
It's like
Yeah.
miracle dragon sorcerer deck. It's just,
I don't think this fits into your typical dragon paladin.
No, it doesn't.
we don't run the targeted spells.
Nope.
Nobody
Only
really does.
priest, I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe roll with like I don't know, cold bloods, but that's kind
Backstab
of
it.
stupid, right? I mean, you could, right? If I
Sure.
want to grow it for the lethal.
You only lose 1 net health. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, boys. That's what you want in life.
Surprise lethal, man.
I saw druids trying to run this in a druid dragon deck that was on stream. That was interesting.
It's not actually like for certain classes, it may not be the worst idea to just play a 4 mana 3/5. Because if obviously the comparison you were talking about here with dragons like is Hungry Dragon, which is everyone's like, oh, that's the Dragon 4 drop, right? But if you're playing a class that doesn't play earlier stuff, so Druid has problems playing things before turn 3, so like you're likely to have stuff to stick in the earlier game.
Well, if you're gonna play a 3/5 for 4, you might as well play the Yeti, right?
Oh no, but you want to play a dragon deck, so this helps you prop your dragon effects.
Yeah, I guess.
So like
if you're looking for
turn
the synergy.
3, yeah. And
Until we get Dragon
I mean,
Yeti.
it's Dragon Yeti. It's like it's okay. I don't think it's great, but it fills a role, I suppose. For decks that cannot clear the thing that comes out of the Hungry Dragon, like it's just bad deck building to throw Hungry Dragon into a deck that is your first play, and then you give him a random free guy, right? That's just like bad deck building. And like maybe consider this in Druid where you like want to turn 2 Wild Growth, turn 3 Dragon, turn 4 Blackwing Corruptor, something. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
That's potential.
I see it as an options card. Maybe yeah, I agree. Other classes that makes sense. Other than that, I don't.
And
I think
OTK
it's a
potential stuff, I suppose. Other than that, no.
Yeah, I think it's a fine card.
OTK, yeah, OTK. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a new thing.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Not enough cards, but
yeah.
The dream is there. The dream is like have this in a Gadget and Auctioneer and just cycle through buff cards and then drop the base and hit them from 30 to 0.
Oh,
the golden one looks pretty swag. I'm looking at the
good
golden
old
art.
Chromagus.
Well, here's
World Shield kind of cycle.
Here's a thought. What about like a Mech Mage throwing one of these in, or 2 or whatever, with the spare parts?
Oh,
possibly. No, is it a okay 4-drop? Would you rather have something else in?
Yeah, I would rather play. I mean, you don't want to use the spare
Mechanical
parts
Yeti.
for fun, right? Yeah, you kind of like in Mech Mage, you want
Sure.
to save the spare parts for the Antonidas, so
Yeah,
you don't want to
that's true. Yep.
waste them willy-nilly earlier.
And I think what? How much? is-
Shredder's just better.
Yeah,
It's a mech and everything.
sure. So it's a good card. I don't think it has as powerful synergy right now. Maybe.
Yeah,
Or
I think
that's
it's really
easy.
good in arena though.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
There's not many buff-heavy decks out there right now, right?
Right.
Nope.
Not really.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
Well,
Arena,
I remember the good old buff paladin. That used to be a thing.
yeah, I do remember that too. Yeah. So again, with this card, any other thoughts or forever hold your peace?
An arena card maybe.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good in arena
Sure.
because like Senjin's good enough in arena. This is like just a better Senjin because it does something. In Priest, you definitely pick this like all the time. Would be like a very high pick for Priest. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay. All right. So we'll just go on to the next card. Draconid Crusher. Say that right.
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
6/6 for 6, so it's a satanic card. It's a dragon, and its battle cry is: if your opponent has 15 or less health, gain +3/+3. I'm not a big fan of this card, but I don't think it's bad for ladder or constructed, I guess I should say.
or arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it does enough.
And the
Because,
thing with this again, because we already established the fact that Dragon, the whole tribe seems to be about trying to ramp. This doesn't seem like a ramp card to me per se.
No.
It's more like a finisher.
Like, yeah, like a win more card.
In my mind, this fits into rush decks with lots of small minions, where on turn 6 your opponent is likely on half-life. So that's where you would play this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe this could be your Fel Reaver if you want a Fel Reaver. It's 1 mana more expensive, but it's slightly bigger. And if you're playing a Fel Reaver deck, you kind of want to burst them down anyway. So they're
Yeah.
likely to be at 15 or less.
Also, the obvious Alexstrasza synergy. It's like, but
Oh,
then-
true that.
But if
Yeah.
like, if the game's at the point where you have had 9 mana to play Alexstrasza, it's like, is the next turn really Dragonite Crusher?
Right. So you're playing that turn 9 Alexstrasza and hoping
And then
that
the
on,
turn 10 Draconid?
well, you're hoping that's the case, but you're hoping, okay, you passed it to them, they don't play anti-kill bot or
Yeah,
whatever.
they just heal themselves.
Like,
right
please
back up.
don't heal. Please don't heal.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of eggs in one basket. I don't think there's anything wrong with the card. I just don't think it, like somebody said, it doesn't do enough.
I feel like y'all have this opinion that the dragon class is about ramping.
I do, but if you feel otherwise, please enlighten. I'd love to hear
Okay.
it.
I disagree. I
Okay.
mean, when you look at the cards that they're giving us, they give us Blackwing Technician and Blackwing Corruptor. Those aren't ramp cards. Those are tempo
Sure.
cards.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
And the
Wait,
only
wait.
card in all of the dragons that ramp is Dragon Consort.
It's the
That's the
consort,
only
which is
one.
strictly
Mhm.
Paladin. Yeah.
Exactly. So for every other class who wants to play dragons, you're not going to be ramping.
That's
You're
true.
going to be playing like a value tempo plan with some degree of endgame.
Where
And
this guy
this-
might fit in, yeah.
Exactly. Like if you push enough damage early, like in a
Mm.
this is off the top of my head. I haven't tried this. Like Dragon Shaman,
Mm.
where you have like Flame Tongue totems to push more damage and like Crackle or Rock Biter weapon finishes, and you can push damage early and have like basically 4 copies of the Fire Alley. Like turn 5 Corruptor, turn 6 Fire Alley. You just like wreck your opponents, and then when he's low, you Draconite Crusher, and it's like a 9/9. It's massive. And obviously, like the typical argument is it gets big game hunted. But if you're playing something like Boom, you don't mind just getting big game hunted, right?
Yeah, I
So-
think it's just another target. It's like if they BGH this, then you're just like, I'm getting my boom next turn. What are you gonna do?
But what are you not putting in your deck to put 1 or 2 of these in as a 6 drop? What are you trading? That's my fear. That's kind of why I don't like
I
this card. Like,
suppose.
what are you not putting in at your 6 or plus slot to put 1 or 2 of these in? You're not putting Sylvanas or, I mean, the list goes on.
Lower third.
I mean, if you're going for a more aggro plan, Sylvanas is kind of not something you want to be playing anymore.
Sure. Is
It's
this
just like I actually think this is a new kind of minion that Hearthstone doesn't have enough of. That and I guess Fel Reaver is kind of like its predecessor, the very undercosted, massive guy,
Mhm.
but still somewhat expensive.
Mm.
Fel Reaver's downside is what makes it kind of terrible because he can just kind of mill you out of stuff and you can't do
Mm.
anything anymore. But Draconic Crusher doesn't have that kind of downside. Being a 6 mana 6/6 when you need it isn't terrible. In the same way that playing Harrison Jones when sometimes you might not get into weapon classes isn't terrible because a 5 mana 5/4 is okay. A 6 mana 6/6 is also kind of okay because most cards played in Hearthstone, constructed or otherwise, are smaller than 6/6, so you can eat most of the cards anyway. And if you think of it as a 6 mana 9/9, like you played in that specific situation, it really isn't that bad. It's a new kind of card. It's the same vein of card as Fel Reaver with no downside, basically.
Mm.
And
Everything
it's hard to
to gain.
evaluate for us. We say that it might not do much because
yeah,
we
with the
haven't
only,
played with this before.
yeah, the only downside is having to take the risk to put it in your deck, basically.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's what you're trying to risk. Yeah.
Well, you look at the 6 slot at the moment, and it's not like huge because
No, it's
obviously
true.
Black Knight has fallen out of favor,
Mm.
and even Sylvanas is. I don't know. I haven't seen a huge amount of Sylvanas recently.
Oh, that's Tarusian.
yeah.
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 You can say you're only really contending with Thoros, and it's just I don't know. I just feel like if you can make room for it.
I'm gonna try it. I'm still not convinced.
Potentially, I'm not saying it's definitely going to be good. It's like an okay card that could make the break if we need more dragons. It's a reasonable dragon.
Mm.
The fact that it's a dragon is also something we need to consider. Like it procs.
That is
everything.
true. Yes, which is really important, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But
Especially for by
Yeah.
the way, like just continuing on the shaman rant. Like I don't even know if this is ever going to happen, but like let's just theoretically say dragon shaman, right? You don't have dragon consort, so you don't have enough dragons, and you don't want to be playing Twilight Drake because sometimes it's too small and useless in the late game.
yeah.
Azure Drake definitely because you kind of want to spell damage with like Lightning Storm or your
Yes.
Burst or whatever. But
Close to
other than and the card just moving it through your deck, it's just card advantage. Other than that, you maybe like you don't want to be playing too many end game dragons either. So this is like your mid game dragon that mid game card that counts as a dragon conveniently, and it can get you to like that 7 to 8 count dragon count in your deck, which makes the proccing of your black wing cards far easier. That in of itself you have to consider like is a huge deal because those cards are that strong. In the non-paladin class. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give it a try. I'm still not convinced. I don't think it's a bad card by any means.
It's not bad.
Please don't think I'm saying that, listeners, but it's still to be seen. It's still, this whole release is still young and new, so I guess it's still to be seen what becomes of it. All right, so we'll go on to the next one. Let me find it. Here we go. Volcanic Drake, 6/4 for 6, Dragon Tribe. Text reads, cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Now, Avery, we kind of spoke offline a little bit about this.
Yep.
I don't know what to think of it. It's not a bad card. Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to say? Because I haven't really formed a very strong opinion.
Yeah.
I know that, and I kind of feel the same. It's a tad bit situational, isn't it? Again,
I've seen it tried a few times in Dragon Pally because you get the almost double synergy of like, so assume you've played like Muster on turn 3 and then you play a consort and it starts getting really cheap if you can because if you can run in some tokens, and particularly if those tokens are trading for things. So if you're like against another deck with either tokens or like aggro cards with 1 or 2 HP, you start Volcanic Drake starts to get quite cheap. As you said, it's quite situational.
Yeah, it's because you get the synergy of like a muster for battle, your tokens, but also a clutch consecrate or equality consecrate play.
So
I think
it's a very huge swing card.
Yeah. But the potential to be.
That's, I guess, the thing that people sort of overlook in looking at the card initially is they only really sort of factor in, I guess, or at least I did, was only factored in my cards that died. But when you consider Consecrate, you can be looking at your opponent's board. Plus, if you're killing boom bots, there's a good chance they'll kill your things as well. So
I see this as a pretty strong anti-aggro tempo play. If they've, we've kind of talked about this before, where Face Hunter generally it's not till the later in the game where they may have a bunch of units on the board. I think Matt, you and I talked about this, where it's kind of you've got one at a time, and if there is any trading, then they're off the board. So there might be 1 or 2 minions on the board for a while before things start to build up. And the dream is obviously, all right, you unleash the hounds, and then I can't. Consac and then Volcanic Drake and go GG until they double kill command your face.
Wait a
minute, guys.
Drake in your hand at this point.
Have you considered like mid-range hunter while playing Unleash the Hounds? You can then play a Volcanic Drake for very, very cheap.
Say that one more time.
If I unleash, like basically, Unleash gives me a bunch of hasty 1/1s, right?
Yeah.
And if I were to trade, they all die, right?
Yeah.
And then if I play Drake in this deck, suddenly I get more value out of my Unleash.
Yeah, so you mean like a Face Hunter deck, or
No, not Face Hunter, like a mid-range hunter.
Oh, mid-range hunter. Okay.
It'd have to be mid-range, otherwise you're not going to have this card. It's not going to make the cut. It costs more than 5 mana. You can't
Wait a minute.
the curve like that.
Whoa.
What?
You mean to tell me I can't play Dr. Boom in my Face Hunter deck? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Oh, man.
But what do you guys think about the recombobulator possibility? You
Oh wow!
play this
I
guy,
didn't even think of that. Oh
go
shit!
face, and then try to get something better out of it.
That's insane! Wow, that's a really
like
good idea.
Get Toshly or like Sylvanas or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a really good idea.
Wow.
Dude, the Dream, the base 9/7.
I'm looking through all the 6/6, all the like 6 mana cards.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're all improvements except like Cabal Shadow Priest, I guess. Everything else is an improvement.
Okay. That's okay.
Maybe Priestess of Elune is not what you want. Probably.
Oh yeah.
how crazy would like you drop Volcanic Drake, Recombobulator, Reckless Rocketeer for the win, which is the 6-mana
Ooh.
5/2.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's insane.
That's just crazy. I mean, so any other thoughts on this one? I mean, I don't like the 4 health, but I guess that's the trade-off for some of its ability.
I think it's a swing card that is kind of bad when you are losing because you're never going to be the one trading if you're losing typically. In most like games of Hearthstone, it's only good when you're ahead, and I don't think it's a 2-copy kind of card.
Okay.
But it's so interesting in its because getting any card cheaper in a game where mana is your restrictive resource is definitely something you have to take a very, very close look at. And I'm very sure that at some point in this game, someone's going to build a deck that abuses this mana reduction of a Volcanic Drake. So I just maybe mid-range hunter with and you go for a huge Unleash combo and you Volcanic Drake. That'll be pretty crazy. Or like, and obviously like with every card when we're talking about when it comes to dragon, it's a dragon, right? And because it's such a situational dragon, you're unlikely to play it, which means it's gonna sit in your hand, which means you can proc your things. But it's also not a huge like turn 9, turn 10 thing that doesn't impact the board. It could come
I was gonna say, if you're gonna take this in your deck specifically to have something in your hand that is a dragon, you might want to consider another dragon.
No. I said what I meant is like, yeah, you want to play dragons, but if you keep playing like cheap dragons and you play them on curve, like if all your dragons were 4 mana and below, like say theoretically Fairy Dragon, Twilight Drake, and Hungry Dragon, right? Then your Blackwing Corruptor looks kind of sad because you're unlikely to have a dragon in hand to proc it, right? So you want a dragon that's more expensive than say Blackwing Corruptor, or a dragon that you're unlikely to part with very easily. Yeah. And the obvious thought is expensive, huge dragons, but you can't have too many of those in your deck because they're kind of useless in faster games. Volcanic Drake is less useless in faster games, but it's also more situational, so it's likely to sit, and at the perfect time, it can swing the board in your advantage after you make a big trade, right? So like, it's I don't really know how to explain it. Like when I play it, it feels that way to me. I never play it on curve. It just sits in my hand until I proc everything first, and then after I proc everything and like the board, and I can go for this one massive turn where I can trade a bunch of things.
You wait for your opponent to slightly overextend and then
blow them up.
You trade a bunch of things, you play 2 more things and Drake, and then like suddenly the board is huge in your advantage. So it kind of like that. You wait for the perfect opportunity kind of a card, which plays well into the concept of holding dragons, but it's not too expensive such that it would hinder your deck. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah.
But would you put this guy in? Like he's 6 mana, right? Yeah. Instead of the Draconid Crusher?
Yes. Okay. I think it's better than Crusher. You could play it on turn 4.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, I think it's just so much more versatile. Like you have the potential to get a huge unleash on, turn 3, and potentially even get it out on turn 3 if it's free. It's just the potential where there's Dracnoid, obviously very funneled towards that mid to late game.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know what to make of it. I think the potential is there, and it's a very interesting mechanic to try and abuse. We'll have to see, but it's an interesting card.
Yeah, I'm only running one of in my Dragon Paladin right now because I don't know what to think of it either. It's kind of a half and half. If it's in my hand, half the time I'm getting good value out of it. The other half, it's like, oh well, this is the only thing I have in my hand right now worth playing. Which is unfortunate when you have to play it like that because that 4 health really hurts. All right.
But the flexibility of it also is a plus point, right? Like,
sure.
You can play it either way.
Yeah. All right. Again, any other thoughts?
Nope.
Is that it?
Is this maybe like, as you were saying, because you were just describing a situation when you're already behind, it's like your only card that you still have. Is this maybe a card where you would consider not playing it, trying to wait for another draw, and then?
I don't think so. I think like if you need a body on the board, if not, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, you just play it anyway. Try to be mana efficient. Yeah.
It kind of sucks against Shredder though. That's the downside.
Yes, very much so.
But then again, if Dragon Pally becomes bigger, then there's gonna be less Shredders. So
I'm
'Cause
already
everyone's
seeing
going
less
Hungry
shredders
Dragon.
at the moment anyway.
yeah, exactly. The less shredders. Full stop.
Like, I
Which
think-
makes this better.
Like I think what Shredder had a spot in did it have a spot in Freeze Mage in the Tempo Mage before Flame Waker came out?
Yes,
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might still have that spot. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at much Temple Meat.
Yeah. Which I would. Yeah, we want to talk about the Flamewalker Mage here in a minute.
All right, we
all right.
Waker.
All right.
Yeah, we got to get
Is
it.
it- is
through.
it Waker
It's
or
Flame
Walker?
Waker.
Walker, I'm sorry.
Flame Waker.
Is
It's
the Waker?
Waker.
It's
Waker.
not Wind Waker.
Say
Flame
it with me,
Wanker.
boys. Flame
Flame
Wanker.
Waker.
Waker.
Okay, so it
Wanker.
refers to Ragnaros basically.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the same card, guys.
All right.
Little
So
Major Domos,
yeah.
his minions.
So that
Okay.
that is the Volcanic Drake. We will go on. We'll talk about the legendary before we go to the Paladin cards. So Nefarian 8/8 for 9 Dragon Tribe Battle Cry. Add 2 random spells to your hand from your opponent's class. I don't like this.
No, me neither.
It's not.
As you're forcing it
Matt-
out of your mouth.
Yeah,
think
Matt,
to
you go
yourself-
first. You go first. Tell me
to-
why I should like this.
Think to yourself, is the only reason you don't like this because of BGH?
No, I don't like this card because you could get 2 random spells that have 0 synergy. Like I'm talking like Shield Slam, or
You could. Yeah, you definitely could. Or you could get double bro.
You could, yes.
Wait, Mike, let me ask you. Do you like Neptulon?
No.
Do you like free cards?
Oh, sure, yes. But
No, specifically Neptulon. Do you think Neptulon is a good card?
I don't think it's a bad card.
But it's
Would
not
you
one
play it
card
in
you
a
would opt for?
competitive Shaman deck? Yeah. Would you play it in your 7 slot?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay.
So I
Solid
don't
no.
I don't have a lot of experience with that. So I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I mean, guys, enlighten me if you think this is a good
It's
card.
the closest comparison.
Okay.
To me, the 2 cards.
Okay,
Like they're completely random. You can't decide what they're gonna be.
right.
Sometimes the Murlocs you get are terrible. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
no,
get, like,
I meant Nefarian, but no, if that, that's exactly what I mean. You don't know if you're going to get good ones or not, as far as Murloc goes.
I'm talking about both cards and how
Okay,
they're similar.
okay.
You can get completely crappy Murlocs that don't work well, like a whole bunch of Coalite Oracles, just useless. You never want to play them, right? In the same way, you can Nefarian against a warrior and very well get a Shield Slam and I don't know what else does warrior do.
That's the only really bad one is Shield Slam because everything else doesn't interact
Somewhat,
with, like,
right?
armor.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
don't know. I
you
think
start to look at the spells and they're all like not terrible. Like there's some of them are pretty niche. Like you play against a warlock, you might get something like corruption, but when you're playing Nefarian, maybe corruption isn't the worst thing.
No,
I think it's like fishing spare parts only from a much larger pool,
sure.
and therefore it's less reliable. But the fact that you're still getting extra cards is good on its own, I think.
So
But like while that pool is bigger, there's also it's a lot more weighted where in towards the high end, I would argue. Because in the sense that like the best thing you can get from the spare parts is what like stealthing the minion or bouncing it back to your hand.
The risk reward element is a lot higher with this guy, and the reward is potentially huge. Sure.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm saying like rolling low and getting like corruption or something like that is at on the lowest end is probably
Oh man, you could roll
similar
Sack Pack against
setup.
Handlock and kill him.
oh, sure, you could. Yes.
That's so
I
sick.
think
Just
in a-
thinking
in a-
about it.
What do you think? Like, because my thought was in a control v control kind of setup, this would be great. Try to fish
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I think it's too
Okay.
slow to be played in an aggro heavy matchup. It's too expensive and too clunky because the spells you can only play the following turn and it's random and stuff.
And
But just
and that's my problem with it. Turn 9 is this the
The equivalent of is this better than playing Ysera, basically?
or I mean, well, any other turn 9 Alexstrasza, because Alexstrasza you're setting up for a potential lethal.
with Dragon
depending on the
or
deck,
whatever.
obviously, but
Yeah.
And the board. So if you're behind, nothing's going to help you. If you're ahead, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm already ahead. I'm playing the 8-8 GG. But if this is if we're paying for tempo right now, board control or whatever it may be, is this a card you want to drop on turn 9 and are you just praying that it gets you ahead as opposed to something that has it, what you're getting, you know what the plan is? What's the plan? What's the play with this card? All right, I'm gonna play this 8-8.
What's the grand strategy with
exactly?
This
and I don't see the end game with this.
It's just
card.
card advantage in a control v control matchup.
Okay.
I mean, what would you play in place of? Say, for example, just theoretically, this goes into control warrior. What are you replacing? Say Rag. Does Rag guarantee anything? It's pure RNG, right?
Yes. I don't know if I.
Is it better than Ysera? I mean, the body is more aggressive. It is 8 attack. It puts more pressure on.
At least Rag gives you some aggressive control. Like you're if you get lucky with Rag, you're guaranteed to get at least one big minion from your enemy off the board.
I think that's similar to saying like if you get lucky with Nefarian,
you're right.
You're probably guaranteed.
No, that's true.
To win the
There's
game.
RNG.
I mean, would you play Thought Steal in a priest deck if control matchups were heavy? Yes, right, you would.
Sure.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you play this? I mean, like obviously it's not exactly a fair comparison because like when you Thought Steal, you're only Thought Stealing good cards because you're assuming your opponent only plays good cards. But sometimes like you Thought Steal against Rogue and you hit Deadly Poison and you can't do anything with it.
Right.
That's just the nature of Thought Steal. And that's also just the nature of Nefarian. Sometimes you get good cards, sometimes you get bad, but at least you're getting something. And in a deck that let's just say a deck that wants dragons and is a dragon, so cool. That's just good enough to play later.
You know what? You're right. I keep personally forgetting that it has the dragon moniker, so that is some value right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely thought it was a lot worse than it actually. Like when I first saw this card, and I'm pretty sure I can be quoted as saying like the best thing about this card is the flavor text or the art. I think it was the artwork. But then like sort of after a few weeks of I guess starting to see the potential of dragons and like thinking about the card advantage, it sort of becomes like better. But yeah, it's still it's good, but it's not like I don't think it's a must play sort of thing.
Oh, it's not a must play definitely, but it's an option to consider.
Okay, I was getting the impression you guys would say, no, this card's crazy. You got,
I
don't think it's bad.
Dr. Boom, but
okay.
I think it's better than Chromagus. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Oh,
I think it's
wow.
better than Chromagus.
I don't agree with that, but interesting. Okay, why?
Because it guarantees instant value. Chromagus needs to survive. Chromagus needs to not get silenced. And like Chromagus, I've been playing Chromagus. I played Chromagus for a bit, and it feels very underwhelming. I replaced Chromagus with Nefarian, and I'm happier. I won't say my deck like I'm happy with where the deck is, but in a straight up comparison between Nefarian and Chromagus, I'm happier with Nefarian. The value is instantaneous. I don't have to wait a turn.
I feel like it's harder to remove Chromagus, so I don't mind.
Yeah,
I don't mind it as much.
BGH, right? That's the cut.
Sure.
That you're worried of. But,
sure.
I mean,
for my investment, for my mana investment, it sucks to have it just thrown away.
BGH?
With a death or anything. I mean, obviously you can death with Chromagus too.
Yeah, sure. But that's the same thing with
anything.
Rank, right?
Sure.
Like all big cards, the same problem. You can't be constantly afraid.
The inherent disadvantage of playing big minions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be like, and Nefarian has the one thing that makes it the best thing against, not the best card, but like the best possible situation against BGH is that you get instant value. So even if I kill it, I got something. You know, that's what makes Boom good. Because you get the boom bots. That's what makes
that I agree with.
One hit.
See, and that's why I think Dr. Boom is such a strong card, because it's okay. We can make the argument I bait out a big BGH if I have any other cards that are bigger, but I still have value because it's like, all right, you killed the 7/7. I completely 99% of the time I expect it to be BGH, but I still have those boom bots on the board, and those boom bots are the real champs of that card. I think.
I agree. You know what Rex? By the way, do you know what Rex Chromagus?
What?
Ren Blackhand.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it yet. Not yet. Quit spoiling it.
Another comment I wanted to make is that thematically, like just looking at the card, I felt it it kind of, to me, it felt like an aftermath to GVG with the randomness of it.
Sure.
Where I felt it was not thematically fitting as much into BRM as Background Mountain as maybe
from what I
KT
know-
was for the other one, because with
For
KT
next,
at
yeah.
least, he was that was such a cool component. Like
Yeah.
as soon as KT came out, Death Rattle Dex was the shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because he was just so much value having Death Rattle minions and then have his effect proc. And with this guy, it's like he is the last card you get, like the ultimate boss at the end, and then he kind of, I don't
Killed
know.
twice and
Matt, you know
Yeah.
this, right? Like I heard somewhere, apparently, like the Nefarian boss in WoW, uses like your own spells
Yes.
in the raid
Yeah, yeah.
against you or something.
yeah, you uses shit against you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the theme
No,
of the card.
no,
right?
I get that. The Hearthstone effect is tailored to the original Nefarian.
They've done really well in terms of like this.
But the
happening, like,
core mechanic of his is not as fitting to the other dragons, I feel, or to
true.
to the whole adventure in general, as was KT.
Sure.
To
Oh
the whole
yeah,
Death
I
Rattle
agree.
thing.
KT was insane.
That's-
Yeah.
So the difference here is Nefarian is not a dragon aspect, therefore does not deserve the aspect power of like being ridiculous like the other dragons.
Like Alex and December.
Wait, what is he then?
He's because
He's
he's
the
the
son of
he's
Blackwing.
he's son of
Deathwing.
Blackwing /
Sorry.
Deathwing,
Oh, okay.
and so like sibling to Onyxia.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So like yeah. So basically, you kill Nefarian in original WoW. Then some years pass. We travel to Draenor for Burning Crusade. Then butcher the Lich King. Then come back in Cataclysm. And Deathwing has started bringing bitches back and brings back his baby boy and girl.
Oh.
And that's why Nefarian and Onyxia are back in the hidden laboratory, because for those of you who don't play WoW, you go back and you fight like a zombified Nefarian, as we saw. He's not doing too well. And then so that's basically what the fight is in WoW, is you fight Onyxia at the start and these bone guys come out, and the pool of lava thing is basically he fills the room with lava, and you have these 3 little pillars that you can stand on, and then you kill him and then you leave with all your swaggy loot.
all your loot, all your what are you looking for?
I've always been looking for some tier gear. In more recent years, it's just used as a farming technique, because you can get quite good gold efficiency, because it takes you about 15 minutes to clear on a max level character, and you get 150 gold per boss, plus sell all the loot that used to be amazing to a vendor.
The inflation in WoW is just over the top, right? I saw a video lately with your regular level 90 quest, and it said something about 16 gold reward. I was like, shoo, guys, wow.
We're at a point in WoW where Blizzard have implemented their own, I guess, their own gold buying procedure, where you buy, you pay $30, get a WoW token that sells on the auction house for gold, and and which gives other people who buy it get game time.
You see, but that existed in other games as well. Like I'm always referencing Guild Wars 2 because that's what I play the most. And they also have inflation, but it's not nearly as ridiculous. It's like you see some of the more the more valuable items constantly go up in price, and they also have this kind of real money to in-game gold exchange thing going on. But I think it's still down to just in ridiculous inflation in general.
But when you factor in WoW's been around for 10 years.
I know,
So many, like, I guess if you compared it to, like, I guess real life, where every time there's a new patch released, everything gets made, I guess, somewhat more redundant. So prices crash. It's a very volatile market in that regard. So I guess that's sort of what it has to keep up with. But yeah. I think we suitably burnt the old tangent token.
Tangent. We still have a rant. Don't worry.
No.
Right.
So
that was our tangent.
That was our tangent.
That was a pretty that all spurred from Nefarian, and
Yeah.
We brought it back around to inflation in WoW, and back to Hearthstone.
Yeah. So just in case for any new listeners, we get one rant and one tangent token per episode, where we just go off and do whatever. We get one for each.
We found it quite hard to stay on topic when talking about WoW, because for anyone who's just played Hearthstone, there's quite a rich backing for the story with like 20 years of development.
Yeah.
I've tried to read up on some of the lore because Matt told me to, and because I find it genuinely interesting. But there's just so much stuff, and especially with the whole Warcraft background, it's so confusing sometimes because you don't even know, like, is this part of WoW or was this beforehand? Is this even playable story that happened in one of the Warcraft games, or is this
guy alive?
Lore? Like, is this background lore from even before Warcraft first came out? It's like, yeah.
The TLDR is just check out Noble. It's like Noble 87 or 37 on YouTube, and he'll set you straight.
Yeah, no, I found that guy already. So yeah.
All right. So
I'm saying Jono, but yeah, everyone just check him out.
So that is Nefarian. We'll go to the last card, Paladin card, and I don't want to spoil too much in this discussion because we're going to talk about Dragon Paladin and Deck of the Week. But this is a 5-cost Paladin spell. Solemn Vigil reads, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. I'm running a 1 of this in my Dragon Paladin deck. Here's my thought. Even if I can get trade 1 minion off, at least, either mine or theirs, a 4-cost draw 2 cards, is that bad? It's not a super tempo swing. You think so?
It's still bad.
If you could draw 2 cards with Warlock for 4 mana and not lose health.
It's bad. It's bad.
Okay.
It's like
the difference is with Warlock is you're not burning a card.
That's true.
That's the underlying
That's true.
difference.
It's not a card slot. Okay.
I think it's a good card though.
Yeah, no, I do too. Yeah.
Your trade off and you're saying 4.
Well,
yeah,
I'm
a bad situation, but I think it's a good card.
I'm trying to, I guess, gauge where the trade-off limit is. You know, when is the point where it's like,
right?
okay,
Fucking intellect at 3. 4 is bad. 3 is like still kind of bad, but
okay,
manageable. 2 is where it starts looking quite pretty.
Yeah.
3 is definitely good.
Well, what? Yeah.
For real? You think 3 is good if it costs 3?
No, I said free as in 0.
Oh, 3. Right. Okay. The Australian accent, man.
It's mate. So I could see envision some niche circumstance where you divine favor into this, and then you just keep the party going. But somehow you divine favor into a 0-mana Solemn Vigil, and it's just you keep it on rolling, and you just wreck your opponent. But obviously, quite a niche circumstance.
Mm.
I think the mechanic needs more work though.
Yeah, it really only works in token heavy decks, and in everything else, I don't know. I'd favor, because then again, you're also using these tokens as removal. Usually, to ping them in somewhere and then get the effect out of it.
I guess you're looking for a good either consac or a quality consac board wipe, and then this to swing it back for card advantage.
And then Paladin already has that kind of card, which is both removal and card draw in the form of Hammer of Wrath.
Yeah. Do we feel like this is a catch up card?
Nope.
No.
No, I think so. A lot of the time, the Paladin's never really had much trouble with controlling the board state between Equality and Consecrate.
Yeah, sure.
And so this I think this sort of implies, well, the problem is you're going to run out of cards, and that's where something like Divine Favor comes in handy, because the differential gets translated into you drawing more cards. Because if you're ahead on board state but behind on hand,
that's usually what happens.
In theory, there's a big that's where you're going to get most value. So this is sort of filling towards the other Paladin, archetype that's slowly building around Muster, where you get a lot of 1-cost minions that are summoned very quickly. And so, but it's such a niche card because you have to like time it, and yeah, if it was like if they somehow included your opponent's turn and this turn, then I guess that's when it sort of becomes that. I think
It's
that would be quite.
broken.
Oh, that'd be so broken. Yeah.
I think it needs to cost like 9 mana if it doesn't.
Yeah.
9 mana for 2 cards. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, it's get even more. I don't know. It's yeah. it
Run a
just
two
seems a
of.
bit- I don't, there could be some like circumstance next like in a year or something where there's some sort of like I guess more fuel that it might become better, where it sort of like change the paladin direction. But like at the moment, it just feels like the previous paladin direction of like I guess the divine favor draw engine just feels so much better. Because
I don't really like the Divine Favor Pally decks. I've played it for a while. I find it they're just gimmicky shock value kind of decks. They're not really like consistent winners. If the meta catches on, you're never gonna win a single game. It's just not an inherently strong deck to me. But I'm trying out what's the card called? Solemn Vigil as a replacement for Lay on Hands. Because like in like a mid-range Pally. Because the problem with Lay on Hands is that you play on turn 8 or turn 10, right? And like you need a heal, so you play it, but after you play it, you didn't play a minion, so you're very far behind on board. And you spend like
it's your
life.
it's the only thing you do on that turn is
Exactly. So like because 8 is huge, right? So like it takes too much time to develop. Solemn Vigil feels like a more tempo-y card that I can play on like turn 3, maybe like turn 5, turn 6 with like a spare mana and just like let the gas keep rolling.
that's true.
So,
Didn't think about it.
but it's also very situational. Sometimes unplayable.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. The art is pretty sweet though. Who the hell is that? The double beard thing.
The Jonah. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me look at him.
He's got like 2 tentacles out of his face. With a suit of armor that's quite swaggy looking.
It kind of like the only sort of I guess like name paladin that's relevant is Murad, but it's definitely not Murad. He's got different face tentacles. I don't know.
Yeah, see that was my first guess is that it was Murad, but who are you guessing it is instead?
I don't know. Like maybe a different. Let's see. We'll look at some different. They're known as Exarchs. The high up Draenei.
The Draenei, yeah.
Yeah, it's like hang on.
We
see.
We could just
the only it's not a Karma. It's someone else.
We could just make it up and be like, all right, that's Murad's cousin Jim.
The thing is, Murad
That's who
is
it is. It's Jim.
Doesn't
Which
Murad
call him
have,
Jim?
like,
Jim
4
from
of
America.
those?
Yeah.
4 of those weird beard tentacles.
That
And
I
this
don't
guy only
know.
has 2.
Who?
Yeah. Murad.
Yeah,
got-
Murad has 4. Yeah,
He's
he's got
4,
the different option.
I don't
He
know.
sounds like he's great at parties.
I don't know nothing about you, Alliance scum for the Horde. Come on.
My money is. I'm trying to find like a recent picture of a Karma who is. Oh no, he's got 4 as well. So I don't know. Unnamed Paladin number 1. Unnamed Draenei Paladin.
Or Jim. I mean,
Just call
whatever.
him Jim.
just call him Jim. Jim.
Or Steve, the
Steve.
makeup character. It's just Steve.
Oh my god! Each the flavored text though. Each year, folk gather in front of Blackrock Mountain to mourn those who were mind controlled into the lava.
Oh.
For those who
Solemn
playing at home.
Vigil? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's basically Alliance and Horde sitting outside Molten Core. There's a lot of lava sitting around, and priests using mind control on players.
It's hilarious.
Back in vanilla, PvP wasn't quite as balanced. It wasn't really balanced at all. And so shit happens, and I think for the longest time there wasn't a way to get out of the lava. They eventually added like a little step that you could jump back out of it.
Yes.
But for the most part, you just sort of burn to death, which is hilarious.
Well, that
You're the guy pressing the button for mind control, of course.
right. So those are the 6 cards released from BRM. Let's go ahead and talk about the newish meta or changes in meta that we've noticed over the past few weeks. I'll just start it off with a class, and then we can go from there as you guys feel like it. Dragon Priest. I've been seeing not as much as Paladin, but I've been seeing quite a few people trying those out, and we kind of alluded to that earlier when we talked about the Dragonkin Sorcerer. That's played pretty heavily, and people also been playing Blackwing Technician. I've noticed in those as well, and it's not a terrible deck, but have you guys played against it? Have you seen it on streams? What are your thoughts?
The deck's Zetalot, if I'm not wrong. He's the guy who's been playing it a lot on stream. Zetalot is like if I'm not wrong, he's like a famous priest player. Like he's one of the few guys who plays priest a lot on stream and is famous for it. I looked at the list. It plays very few dragons. It doesn't really feel like an actual dragon priest. It just like happens to run a slightly bigger Dark Cultist. And
yeah,
the rest of the cards are just priest cards, man. The deck does not, and the end game is 1 Ysera and 2 Azure Drake. That's the only like dragon thing in the whole deck. Do you really call this Dragon Priest? Doesn't feel like a dragon.
Yeah, I guess that some of the cards that I've seen change too is maybe 1 or 2 of Velen's Chosen. I don't see those a lot in other decks. I mean, you might see 1 or 2 of those run in and they'll buff a Northshire Cleric or something, but
it plays Hungry Dragon as well, my bad.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That's the last version.
That card's so strong anyway, though. I love that card.
It's actually pretty good in this deck that plays double. I think the idea is if I have 2 Death Lords in my deck, I can Death Lord Hungry Dragon, and then the dragon will likely stick because whatever I spawn out of the dragon has to go through the Death Lord first. So I can I can guarantee that it's a 5/6 basically, and it'll never get touched with the 1 cost thing. I like it.
I think and also the thinking on Death Lord sort of changed a little bit. Like people are just considering that, particularly in Priest, where it's so like control-y. And like, do you think about the randomness of it? Like, sure, I guess the big thinking is, they could get something like a Ragnaros out, but they could also get something like a Zombie Chow out.
And if you're playing Priest correctly, it might not even die ever. It's like, it might just stick around.
Well, exactly. It's so like it's like I think it sort of spurred off this Injured Blade Master just being like becoming ridiculous. People are like, hang on,
wait, guys, I realized, I really like this card. I really like this deck. Like Hungry Dragon, Death Lord, and Injured Blade Master, they have huge amounts of health. Yeah, which makes Circle of Healing pretty insane if you like get it off on the right turn.
Yeah,
this is pretty cool.
We don't even need to get it off. Like you as we were saying before, you can still cut it, but as long as you have the power as shields, just to get, because that puts what does that put Death Lord up to? That's 210, Hungry Dragon 5/8 on turn like 4 or 5. It's just it's just starting to get insane. Like this, we're just gonna have to like start putting 2 equalities back in our Pally decks.
Yeah.
This
deck looks like a nightmare for Paladin.
Yeah, sure.
Like Paladin's worst nightmare. Blackwing Technician can't be killed by True Silver Champion. Champion's just useless against this deck when I look at it. Oh man.
And even like Shielded Mini Twat isn't gonna have a fun time. It's just
yeah, it isn't. You can't play those late though, because Cabal Shadow Priest just ruins your day.
Oh, it's just
it's like the worst shit to happen. It's like turn 7. It's in your hand, you draw it, you have 5 mana because you're going to low tap, and you just, hero power. I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to get wrecked.
I'm not going to have it kill me. It's just, they just swag kill you with your own minion. It's like, I don't give a fuck.
And you wait for him to like eventually give up and take the 1/1, and then you're like, okay, now I can play the 2/2. Turns out he had the second one, and you just get wrecked again.
Just do it for like 4 turns straight until he takes it, and that's when you played the mini pot. It's just, you might have lost the game by just duding and passing, but at least he didn't take your mini bot.
Exactly. You will not take what is mine.
Yeah, you can beat me in this game, but I'm not giving you a mini bot.
It's like you can beat me in this game, but I will concede before you lethal me. That's like the main game of Hearthstone I play. You're just like, come on, yes, I got it off first.
In 5 minutes later, I won't even give a crap. But for now, these next 45 seconds,
I've won this game in spirit.
I felt good about the loss.
These sad things we do to convince ourselves that the loss wasn't that bad.
But that's the thing, and I think that's so crucial to the whole success of Hearthstone. Is there's so many mechanics in there that make you feel good about losing. It's like, it's so easy to blame the deck, blame the RNG, and I do think that is all in there
It's always the problem.
It's like no, but it is deliberately in there. This kind of stuff. It's like they made this game so RNG heavy, so you would feel like even if you're losing, would feel like that was so close. I want to try again. Just want one more game. Come on, one more game.
It's very lighthearted, sort of like they try to let you down easy. They don't like they tell you it's not you, it's them. It's not I hate you, get out of my life.
Yeah.
Just to make a statement though, if you actually want to get better at playing Hearthstone, stop blaming RNG and stop blaming yourself.
No, I agree.
No, I know that's not what you're saying. I'm just like public service announcement.
Yeah.
Like guys, we're kind of joking here.
We're not there. Stop blaming RNG. It's not RNG's fault you're bad.
It's bad you were born this way, so I guess it's kind of like RNG.
Oh,
it is hashtag never lucky, right?
I just have a bad luck account. You know, I never get any legendaries out of my card packs, so I guess Blizzard hates me.
I think like that. So, it all sort of spawns from like the people who I guess complain about it also play I guess the fewest amount of games. So like if you think that these games have a bad effect on you, they're probably still going to have a bad effect on someone who plays 100 games. But the only thing is like they've still got 99 other games to play. If you only play like 4 games and one of these 4 games you get absolutely obliterated by RNG, whether it was your fault or not, it's still gonna last longer. And I think it looms a lot
larger than it is. Yeah,
you just lose perspective, and that's like, no, I'm not gonna play this game again. But,
which is also like deeply rooted into human psychology in general. Is like we realize losses.
Did he see? I'll continue his train of thought because I have a psychology degree and he doesn't, so it's all good. Yeah, so as he was saying, it's sort of like along the line of perspective memory. We remember the things that I guess sort of push our emotions, and that's why it's important to use like a stat tracker or something, so you can help you regain that perspective of like, oh, hang on, no, I don't lose all the time to Warlock. I actually lost 1 out of 3 games. I actually beat them most of the time.
Did I just lag out?
Yeah, you did. I continue training of thought, but you can have a crack.
No, it's Skype. It's definitely Skype now. Like my internet's fine. It's definitely some weird Skype issue. So I can't do anything about it.
Wait, take it from the top. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying. It's we know that our humans are programmed. Our thinking is programmed to kind of put a lot more value and weight into losses than it is into gains. So, you know,
I suppose, at least from an evolutionary standpoint, like avoiding things that are bad. Probably
seems like a good strategy. Yeah,
definitely. It's actually, it's good. I like it.
All right.
So maybe stopping playing Hearthstone after losing 3 games in a row will keep you alive longer. We'll get back to that study, but yeah.
Well, so that's our Dragon Priest, I guess, update of recently. I know there's a couple others. I'll go ahead and Matt, you wanted to talk a little bit about IGB, right? Did I say that right? IGB? Is that right?
IGB. It's just a fantastic.
Tell me all about the Imp Gang boss and your deck. Tell me all about it. I want to hear it.
The Imp, it's not my. I'd love to be able to claim this deck, but like, it features quite prevalently in the new. Well, not even new. I guess last season now, the mid-range zoo.
Yeah. By the way, guys, that was my deck. Top 100 legend. Mid-range zoo.
See, that's what I was playing, but this is one of those times where where it was all the RNG. I just had bad RNG for like last 3 weeks of the season.
The last 3 weeks of the season. Wait a minute.
The last 3 weeks is such bad RNG. It had nothing to do with me. Anyway, so this is like, I guess IGB is pretty close to the middle point of the mid-range zoo, where you have basically you take out a few of the early game zoo cards and add in things like Dr. Boom, Mal'Ganis, Seajoin, Sylvanas, and void callers to make it a fun time.
Demon Zoo, that's like the more
Yeah,
the other name.
Yeah,
The-
see, because I still have that aggressive zoo kind of deck, and in that deck, I felt Imp Gang Boss was just too slow.
yeah. It's sort of like, yeah, that's what I thought. Actually. So I played Zoo in my time, and I still have like the other list, and I think it does have the Imp Gang bosses. Yeah, I actually only have one Imp Gang boss in like the normal standard Zoo type thing, but that's more of like I'm trying to squeeze in the second Doom Guard and maybe a Dark Iron Dwarf than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so, the thing about IGB is it's like the we were talking earlier about in the first 2 turns of Face Hunter that there is actually some thought involved, thinking about like where to trade to give you like a positive board state that you not just going to get rolled over your opponent while you go face in subsequent turns. The thing about IGB is it's really good at this. It's really good about fighting for board state because a lot of the time, with the exception of the absolute bullshit that is swipe, it's actually really good. So, like the absolute bullshit that is swipe for those of you playing at home is the way the swipe damage resolves is it hits say they target the IGB and then it goes the IGB takes the 4 damage, spawns the 1/1, and then when the 1 damage to all other creatures is processed through swipe, it kills the newly spawned 1/1, which in my mind is like total bullshit.
Matt, I think Blizzard has recognized that is a bug and they're gonna fix it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I heard someone say that it was Ben Bro confirmed it as a bug, but it doesn't make it any less bullshit.
True.
1/1 imps I've lost. Yeah. And so, yeah, IGB is excellent at fighting for that. And anyone who's played a bit of Zoo knows how important it is to fight for board state pre-turn 5, and that you sort of really do that with Implosion, Abusive Sergeant, and IGB sports.
Oh wait, also by the way, like just saying, this mid-range Demon Zoo matchup against Druid is so good that the swipe doesn't matter. You just give them the swipe, whatever, swipe my in-gang boss, you get the value, sure, I'm still gonna win you like 80% of the time anyway. Just have your last laugh while you can, kind of a situation.
It's sort of like a hero story in that like this is when they swipe the 1/1 as well. That's sort of when I'm at my lowest, and then on turn 4 I'll rise above and crush them. That's really my plan, is to take the board back with Implosion and just.
Is it called something like retarding moment? I think in drama, is it? Like, I'm not sure what the correct English translation is. Like
retarding. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Retarding.
The retarding moment, the moment of
where just your IQ drops to below 80.
Wait, we're not talking about Face Hunter decks. We're talking about Zoo.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hit a nerve?
I was gonna say quick shots fired.
Oh, I get it. Oh man, damn it, Matt. Damn it.
Boys, I get to draw a card. The puns are. But yeah.
By the way, the deck, I think the MVP of this Demon Zoo deck is Void Terror.
I was gonna say Bane of Doom, dude.
Oh, I don't play Bane of Doom in my version, so I wouldn't know. But
so that was the difference between where I rank like 1/2 and top 100 legend was.
No. That's not true. Like I had friends who made very high legend or hit legend with Bane of Doom, and they talk about that card a lot. I just prefer not playing it. That's the difference. It's not a big deal.
It feels so weighted towards good cards. Like
it is, yeah.
Yeah, what's the percentage now? Because it was not buffed but fixed as to what demons it would pop out, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was like before. What
5 bad demons.
Okay.
And I think there are like 7 good ones or something.
Yeah.
No, okay, I think there are 4 bad demons. Blood Imp, Void Walker, Mistress of Pain, and let's count Flame Imp. So that's 4. Succubus, I think Succubus is okay. And Felguard is pretty okay. Imgang Boss is okay. I think Felguard counts as good already. So like Imgang Boss and yeah.
Yeah. Void Terror. Yeah. You definitely like you can look at it through the pages. So like
Void Terror is okay. Imgang Boss is okay. Succubus is okay, and everything else is. I think I would count Felguard under like the good side. So like Felguard, Void Caller, Doomguard, Floating Watcher, Dread Inferno, Jiraxxus, Mal'Ganis, Doomguard. Those are like the good ones, and there are a lot of them.
The fact that the 2 out of 17 chance to get Lord Jiraxxus or Mal'Ganis, it's just yeah. It's like you're gonna get like a Dread Infernal or Doomguard or even another Void Caller. It's just the potential is limitless. Like I won a game last season where I was on like 1 HP. Face Hunter had me pinned, and I was like, I might as well concede. All right, I'll take a spin with Bane of Doom and out pop Mal'Ganis, and the rest is history. He's a very dead Face Hunter the next turn. He's just sort of like, we just both sort of sat there for about 30 seconds, being like, that just happened. Have I taken like the blue? I need to take a blue pill and go back into the Matrix.
Bring me back. I want to see this reality. Actually, the Matrix.
Yeah, dude, this reality is not where I want to be. Where he's on 1 HP and gets a Mal'Ganis. Blue pill me up, boys.
I definitely think I didn't play it not because I don't think it's good. I just I rather play. I don't know if you play Sylvanas because I play Sylvanas.
Yeah,
I don't know. Low tap?
No. So that's probably what.
There we go. Yeah. I play low tap instead. Like I rather have the insurance of having something strong rather than like maybe random RNGing something bad, even though it's a small percentage of the time. I definitely know what I'm getting. That's the plan with my build.
Did you play C Giants or a C Giant?
No.
Oh.
Dude, I thought it was like so good because of like just the pure amount of like mirror matches there were, and it just absolutely dominates the mirror match.
When I was playing it, I didn't get many mirror matches. So
okay.
Yeah, I just had a lot of druid, a lot of warrior, some number of tempo mages, which this deck just obliterates. Like it's not even close. The Flame Waker mage just gets wrecked. Like you turn 1 Void Walker, he turn 1 mana what's it called? Mana Worm? Yeah. And you turn 2 abusive your Void Walker eating his Mana Worm, and you're like, I just won this game, boys. There's no way I can lose.
I don't give a fuck.
It's so good. But the matchup is so one-sided. Yeah. As I was saying earlier, I played this deck to High Legends, and all the way from I think 1002 or something, all the way up to High Legends, I was playing this deck, and I didn't change a single card. And I'm just really happy with this list. I still think it's very strong. It's kind of the matchup against Hunter is iffy, but if you can get off a Nerubian egg queued in perfectly when they explosive trap, that's how you win the game. You just get a free 4/4.
I also found like getting an early Void Walker just to wear the brunt of like the early onslaught is like
Void Walker.
The one drop is like basically paramount. If you don't get a 1 drop, I think a lot of the time you sort of are a bit cooked.
Yeah. My version plays double Defender of Argus, which helps against but I think the way to play the matchup is just like never tap. Just never let yourself tap. Mulligan for the hand that you have that never needs to tap. And you play your Doom Guards for the burst, and you save your Power Bombings for the burst. So you like burst them out from like 12 and you're at 5 basically is the plan. I think
this is why I put the misdirect in my Hunter, because you're bursting me from 12 with a 13 attack Doomguard, and all of a sudden it kills you because it hits you in the face.
Would you like against a Face Hunter kind of guy? Would you even consider not playing Flame Imp? Just that potential 6 damage that you take for playing them both. It's like
I play 1 Flame Imp.
Yeah, you only play 1 because it's sort of like for that reason.
You're playing your endgame cards, right? So,
see, and I still have 2 of them in my deck, and I'm strongly considering like exchanging them. It's like, it's so good, but it's like against Face Hunter, you don't want to risk it. It's like you're playing
just anyone really. It's just like 6 damage is 20% of your health. It's just It's like, so the problem with running 2 is like you draw it on turn 6 or even later, and particularly against the Face Hunter, but against any matchup where you're like trading slug for slug and you're getting lower and lower. Drawing this on turn 6 and having to drop another 3 health is just sometimes like not what you want. It's
the 3 health is 1.5 taps.
Yeah.
Which means you get 1.5 less opportunity to draw a card. So yeah, it's very
Confirmed.
significant.
Confirmed by science to be 1.5 more times likely to die to face hunter. So
Oh shit!
One of the
I want to
secret
see that. I want to see that.
sex
paper
plays you
version.
can do with this deck. If you play Void Terror, you can Sylvanas Void Terror and steal whatever they play.
no, like the ultimate like cancer play is void tearing a void caller and a Sylvanas, and that's just like that is the game winning play. It's just I actually like won a game where I think you'll have done this play a few times where you just power overwhelming that you play Sylvanas and power overwhelming with Sylvanas for like a 7-mana mind
And then
control.
Void Color it.
Holy shit! It's just
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
so yeah. There are some times where it's just sort of like hella
The deck's
dirty.
capable of very, very dirty things.
But at the same time, sometimes like I don't know, I've been in a couple of situations where I've dropped like Void Collar on turn 4, they've killed it, Mal'Ganis pops out, and then they just BGH it, and it's just like, well, fuck.
It would have gotten BGH anyway, right? And if your version
Yeah.
plays like Sea Giants and boom, it's fine. It's okay. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. More big guys to just
yeah,
whack.
exactly. Just overload the removal.
I think one of the other things to think about with Sea Giant is just you got to really think about when you can like cheese it, like where you can play maximum amount of minions. So like the idea is when if you've got a Sea Giant that costs 4 and you have 5 mana, you can play a minion that costs 2 because it'll go down to
Yes.
3. Yeah, it's just
Another play to avoid that I made a lot of mistakes with. In fact, I was playing a tournament today and I made the mistake and it cost me the game. If you want to Void Collar something, like you can want to attack Void Collar into something, trade it off, and then get like a huge minion you have in your hand, right, out on the board. Don't tap first.
Oh yeah, God. The amount of Void Walkers that have come out, it's like
Exactly, and then you're like, oh shit, now it's 50-50 when it was 100% just now. I'm such a scrub.
Flip.
Wow, that play really cost me so many games. Because it's just instinctive to tap first, but to know all your options. But if you're gonna make that play almost like all the time, no matter what you draw, you should just do it and just tap later, just so you can get the guaranteed Void Collar value, rather than like dropping a Flame Imp or Void Walker or something retarded.
it's also like a ridiculous bluff card. Like
It is.
it's so like ridiculous. Like people will go out of their way to avoid killing this because of the possibility that Mal'Ganis will pop out. Like I played against one today. I was playing against Face Hunt. I was playing Face Hunter again today, and yeah, I called. There were a few situations where I found myself needing to trade, and there was a Void Collar, and I was just like, nah. I would bluff in this situation. It's likely that I could be bluffing this situation, so it's
But
very
the risk
possible.
is just too huge.
Yeah, but sometimes it's sort of like it's one of the, I think it was more of one of those situations where if he has it, I'm screwed. So I might as well like just see, like, and just find out where I'm at rather than wait around and maybe concede next turn when Mal'Ganis pops out. Right? Yeah, I think I think it's better to control it on your turn.
Yes.
Almost like if you have means of controlling Mal'Ganis, it's much better to pop it than to
wait.
It's much better to test it than to wait. Yeah.
And if you think about this, like the math behind it, the earlier you pop it, the less likely he has Mal'Ganis in his hand. So
yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
and to assist the math, the less likely that he's going to be able to, I guess, capitalize on the Mal'Ganis, like by having these souped up like Imp Gang bosses or
Yep.
void, other void callers, etc. It's just fun for everyone.
All in all, sick deck, man. This deck is crazy right now.
Sick deck, dude. Yeah.
It's insane.
All right, so that is, I guess, the
Warlock. It's
the
just
warlock tag. Yeah, general. We'll go on to the next one, which is of the mage variety and variant.
All right.
The Flame Waker mage.
Flame Waker. Say it with me,
Waker.
boys.
Flame Waker.
Waker.
One word. Flame Waker.
See, it feels so more natural to me to say Walker, because I'm pretty sure Flame Walker.
It is a thing
Alright.
in Warcraft, yeah?
Yeah, I think it feels like that's what they were called in Cataclysm when it was Firelands rather than Molten Core, because they were very much like already they were much more walking with the fire than trying to wake up Ragnaros and be like, yo, bitch, there are raiders here who need to die.
So yeah, Matt, have you played this deck? You were talking about it.
I haven't played it, but I've been
Okay.
shitting on it with Face Hunter because it's too slow against Face Hunter, but it's really good against Oil Rogue.
So kind of explain what it does. I've only seen it a few times, so
there are actually many versions of this deck.
Oh, there are. Okay, what's the goal?
The TLDR is like, so people were playing Tempo Mage early last season. That was sort of like the pre-face and practice for when the Flame Waker was a thing. And so basically the idea is to play like a tempo style mage while abusing Flame Waker with which waveform. Like people have been playing things like Arcane Missiles and mirror image taunts and stuff like that. But then you get, like, as Avery just said, you get a lot of variance with some of the cards, and there are definitely mages out there that are just playing like the standard spells, like you double Frostbolt, double Fireball, and that sort of thing. I've seen Toshly as well because of the spare parts.
Oh,
this
okay.
is you're describing a tempo version, right? Yeah, that's a tempo mage.
Yeah.
There's actually another version of this deck that's quite popular in Asian servers. It was around before Flame Waker came out, but kind of Flame Waker fit in very nicely into the deck. The early turns plays very similar to Tempo, and you play very similar cards. You play Sorcerer's Apprentice and Mana Worm, and but it's more face oriented. It's like kind of like face mage. You have Leopard Gnomes as well, and the cool thing about the deck is that you play Ice Block to prop off your Mad Scientist rather than things like Mirror Entity. So you can survive more turns to burst them, like on the last few turns. So like the combo would be like the Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Fireball kind of a thing. And you play Taurusian as well to make everything cheaper. Kind of like going for the Freeze Mage endgame combo. And you like push a lot of damage early with your minions and you tempo them out early. Like it goes like Face Hunter at the start. At the end it goes more like a Freeze Mage kind of kill. And Flame Waker just seals both parts of the deck nicely together. If you want tempo early and you like Arcane Missiles, you get extra 2 damage to clear minions or push face damage. If you do it late and he has like very few minions aboard, you can kind of RNG extra 1 or 2 damage here and there. So that's the other way you can play Flame Waker.
I actually played against this today, like the one with the Ice Block. I was like, because I was like befuddled trying to figure out what the secret was. I was like, hang on, this is dumb. It's like there is only one possible thing that it could only be Ice Block. This is so weird. I must have missed something. And then eventually, I at this point in the day, I had a Kazan Mystic in my Face Hunter and stole it. I was like, Ice Block. Holy crap! I can't. Not only is this like surprising the hell out of me, but I now can't lose this game.
Yeah.
It's just the feels of anyone who gets a good Kazan Mystic. It's just like, I'm invincible.
That's the
best
feels.
problem with these both of these mage decks is that they are very weak to Zoo and to Face Hunter.
Yeah,
which are like two of the most popular decks in the meta at all times.
I'm seeing a lot of like Mana Worms at the moment. That's the thing.
Oh yeah,
I think they can if they get a value Mana Worm off, it's sort of like really. But as you say, it's really quite susceptible to Zoo because it's only got 3 health. And anything plus abusive will kill it.
Exactly. I mean, like Mana Worm's not that great against Zoo, and against I guess it's kind of great against Face Hunter, but the deck is just too slow, especially the tempo version to raise Face Hunter.
You really don't give a shit. Like that's as soon as I think I had a Mad Scientist out and he had like a 2-attack Mana Worm and he went face. I was like, please, I'll race you every day of the week, buddy.
It depends. If they go all in on the Flame Waker and they also play Mirror Image, then like maybe it has a decent shot, but I don't think so. According to your experiences, Matt, it sounds like Face Hunter just shits all over this tempo mage.
Yeah, so. and like the game you spec that I lost is sort of like it was like hella close. Like if I had I quite easily could have topped something to give me the win. Like because I'm running double glaive Zuko, which I actually think
the reason why you lost that game was because you Arcane Golem on turn 4. If you just hero powered, maybe you could have won that game.
Yeah. I think like because you're talking about like the Sludge Belcher thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Wait, that was when I was like hell greedy, and I can't remember what I silenced, but yeah, I was just being. And you're like, what if there was a sludge bush? Was like, oh yeah, but that was sort of like the same reason why I was playing Arcane Golem hell early, because like, all right, I'm gonna do it now before there's a sludge belcher.
But
That's like,
in the bot state, it dies straight to the 2-1, you see. So it was a very weak like line to go. That's my opinion. I would have done it
Yeah.
much later. But anyway,
Say.
besides the point. Describe talking about a game that no one watched and no one will ever see.
no one will ever
Anyway.
know. Therefore, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
No business.
Which makes your win rate against the deck 100%, right? Because that was
Yeah,
like
dude,
the only
that's-
loss.
Yeah. So all I have to do is kill you, and then no one will ever know about the loss. It's just,
Anyway.
it's yeah. As killing the new co-host aside, let's yeah.
Did I just disconnect while I was gone?
Yes.
Okay,
Probably.
That's
Did you
unfortunate.
did you miss the bit about me killing Avery?
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Okay. All right. No, it's fine. It's let's witness. It's fine.
Let's keep it a
See,
secret.
here I was looking at my internet connection, thinking, okay, everything's stable. I can, easily risk just, leaving for a quick few seconds, and then
Then
I
it
miss-
explodes. Come back. Everything's on fire.
yeah, it's just a gigantic mess. It's basically Armageddon, with people killing each other apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I
happened.
faced
Over
things.
over what? Over face hunters.
Yeah. I had to eliminate him so no one could see.
Basically, what you're saying is playing too much face hunter turned you into a face hunter.
A
Well,
face
yeah,
hunter.
that I got a message from my one of my mates today, and he's like, because I was talking to him earlier today about like how I've been climbing with Face Hunter, and I spec'd his game, and he's like, "You did this to me," and he's just playing Face Hunter, and it's like, dude, you can feel you can feel the cancer building inside in your body. You just need to let it out and just let Rexa
No.
cleanse you.
No.
Your internal cancer.
No.
Just-
Fight the urge. Fight the dark side.
you can only fight for so long. Like it takes hold. It's just
Never.
and
Never.
then, next, Face Hunter,
Whatever.
Never.
Leroy's, and everything.
Have you ever been playing Patron Warrior?
Oh yeah,
I-
let's
Yeah.
I played it a few times. Yeah,
let's go and
nice.
talk about that a little bit. That's still a very popular deck. What?
It's also very new. The cool thing about Patron Warrior, I think, is that I personally don't feel that the perfect or even a like very consistent shell has been found yet. The one that got the deck very popular, that made it number one on Reddit, like it was a top Reddit post because the guy made number one NA Legend very early with it, right? It was
it was like 3 or 4
a
days.
very combo oriented version.
What was
Yeah,
he?
but a lot of pros. Yeah, sorry.
What was the key to it? What was he running?
Oh, he didn't play any end game. It was not like a typical warrior deck at all. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
full all-in combo with loot hoarders, zombie chow. You play a blood sail raider to trigger off the what's the card called? Warsong Commander. You play very little removal, no shield slams, just executes.
Wow.
It's a very just all-in combo. Like you only plan to win 2 Grim Patron and no other way. And that deck, while good at its job, has no plan B. So like and I guess the plan B is Frothing Berserker, but again it's kind of like too combo-y for my liking. So and I think for a lot of people's liking. So a lot of pros recently have been picking up versions of the deck that also run like a side plan. So Grom, they play Grom.
Mm.
So like you smash their face with weapons early, like you just turn 2 War X face, turn 3 War X face, turn 4 Death's Bite, just get them low, and like if your combo fails, eventually just Grom them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
some of
like-
them also just play Boom for the value.
And like so, a lot of where the variation is occurring is people, as you said, running loot hoarders, running slams and inner rages, and
Yep.
it's like slam, inner rage, unstable ghoul, and then Zixo is playing loot hoarders, and 1 or 2 frothing berserkers, usually 2, and that's sort of where the variation occurs. Is in the triggers is what it is usually.
I think that in the deck building rationale, it's whether you want to commit all into the plan or you want to like have a like you put this in a slightly more control warrior kind of shell. I think is the two like deck building approaches. And
I think like
Yeah.
The addition of Grom is like as you say, if your combo fails, you do have that, I guess, the finisher, the plan B,
Yes.
you can hit him from 10, and that's usually a lot of the time when you fail, when the combo like fails or they have an efficient clear for it. That's where sort of you'll end up when they're between like 10 and 15 health is where you
Yep,
just need
and you just
Grummy Hellscream to come in and smash the face.
Mm.
exactly. So like the deck also comes together a lot partially because Tarusian makes every combo deck better by making all the spells in your hand cheaper.
But how are you
So-
gonna draw into Grom though? That's like, right?
There are 2 Gnomish Inventors, and
Yes.
some versions run the Loot Hoarder, so that's like +4. Yeah. So it's sort of like, and there's also a couple
Acolyte
of,
Appeal.
I think, yeah. I've got
Yeah,
two
but that
Acolytes,
was my next
so-
question. Are they still running Acrolite? Okay.
It definitely makes sense to run like collect because you're playing a lot of whirlwind effects to proc your Grim Patron, so you can
Yeah.
use those things early. It plays commanding shot as well, so if you really need the cantrip, which I've seen some pros do, like on stream, which I've been watching, like if they really need the card draw, they just commanding shout just to draw a card.
Well, yeah,
It's not the worst.
it's basically, it's better on. I think a lot of the time it could be better on turn 2. Like when we sit around like turn 2 to turn 4, I think it's used if you don't have anything going for you, just dropping the commanding shout is better just to
Yes.
cycle towards that. Pushing the combo out.
Yep, agreed.
Mm.
The deck is to me, I feel like the deck's amazing. I think the deck is very, very solid, very strong.
Do you feel like
Yeah.
it doesn't work if you don't have Grom? Because at the end of the day, he's still a legendary.
No, I've seen this deck in action enough to know that the deck doesn't need Grom to win.
Okay.
It's just supporting that plan B. That in
Exactly.
this situation where I was playing a freeze mage against a freeze mage and he wrecked me, I then dropped Grom Hellscream from hand and killed him. It's just
Like it's in and the patron itself typically is enough to win if you can get off the combo with a Warsong Commander. The thing about it, like, dude, I don't know, the combo feels insane to me. Like it's so much value for like the cost that you're paying. The problem with the deck is that and you have a lot of random lethals that are possible from like 25 health. If you're like double Frothing Berserker, unstable Ghoul trade into something, or like you have to, but the sequencing is very complicated. So the deck's actually very, 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 very tough to play optimally. And there's not enough
Yeah.
time in the game to, like in a turn, 90 seconds, to do anything, to do everything that you want. So like I encourage anyone who wants to try this build, don't like get too cocky and go straight to ranked. You're gonna lose. Just go casual first, play a few games, get the hang of the way the combos play out and how you want to sequence your plays, and then after that you can maybe think of bringing it to ladder. Because I tried it, it's very difficult. It's unbelievably difficult. I wouldn't dare to play this in a tournament. I don't even feel confident enough to play it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it sort of has raised, like Savage raised the question of, should there be an option in Hearthstone to turn the animations off, because it consumes so much time
Yes.
watching the animations.
Yes.
Particularly with the also obviously the Grim Patrons are a big culprit, but even the Frothing Berserker, when you get
Yes.
these big insane combos off where you're hitting like 8 minions twice or something like that, and you're waiting for it to ramp up to like the 16 attack, it just takes so long, because you get one of those the whoosh whoosh noise for every attack it's going up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I perhaps like in future, I don't know how like easy it would be to turn it off. I don't know. We'll just leave it to Blizz, I guess.
Yeah, this deck raises questions about the way our turns work, because like we should get to play this kind of decks. Like if we should get the opportunity to play cards that they give us, right? I think a good step is just to reduce the either Frothing Berserker and the Grim Patron animation time. Just decrease the length of the animation.
Well, the other thing they could consider doing is maybe have it so card animations don't count
Never happen.
towards don't
Or time.
card to, or yeah, don't count towards your like your 90 or
Yeah,
whatever it is.
you beat me to
Well,
it.
that's difficult
Yeah.
though, because like sometimes the animation causes you to lag, like your specific computer to lag, but not your opponent's.
Mm.
Right? So like it technically
Are you
you're
running a toaster over there?
No, well, because you're hitting exactly what my point, Matt, was, just put a pause in there. Or, if you know, we can't, people can't help if someone is playing on a toaster, as you said. But let's just
more
say
so with
the
games, I
animation's 2 seconds long. Well, then pause the timer for 2 seconds. If it's a laggy computer, well, stop playing on a toaster. But at least give players the opportunity to play the game instead of sitting
Or
there
just-
watching animations.
Or just cap the cycle at some point, like say it cycles 5 times, and after that it just stops
or,
and
like-
instantly calculates
Yeah.
the outcome.
Or with the game, the Grim Patron, just for example. All right, give us the animation and the voiceover one time. And then from that point on, just keep spitting them out if I'm hitting it or doing whatever combo I am,
And the thing about this is like it bolsters the amount of mobile devices the game can be played on, because a lot of I guess the lower tier phones, particularly stuff like I guess sort of iPhone 4 and before, would probably struggle with some of this stuff. And so to have an option to turn it all off would just make it run smoother. And I think people who had the knowledge to turn it off on their iPhone 4 would understand like why they're doing it, and thus it would be better.
Here's my counter to that, and I'm thinking as if I'm a dev or in the business office at Blizzard. When it's sort of like people, and I'm thinking game like DayZ, for example. I don't know if you guys ever played that. It's a sort of,
And the unoptimized days.
yeah.
I
So
am proud to announce that I have not played this game.
okay, so it's a survival zombie shooter type of game.
No, I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
but-
Well, for the listeners, if you haven't played it, but or even a lot of other shooters, people that play competitively, they'll turn off graphical options because it gives
they
you an
will.
advantage.
They will play as if they were playing on a
Right.
potato, just for the 200, 300, 400,
Exactly,
500
and
FPS.
and there's less rendering of textures and grass, and so it gives those people an advantage. So I'm thinking, all right, if I'm watching a tournament, are we going to have players that also prefer this? And so now maybe the viewing experience isn't as optimal for viewers.
So here's the counterpoint to that is that it wouldn't be on during spectator mode. Like you could the spectator client would be separate again.
So yes, but that means we need catch up time between player turns. So if a player is able to play out everything he wants in that 90 seconds, but we have like, I'm exaggerating, 5 minutes worth of animation and gameplay time, what's the? Do you follow me?
I understand. Like for example, if one player has it on, one player has it off,
right?
And so the player who has it off has played their like 35-second Grim Patron turn, and I think you just put it into the buffer. I think that's fine.
I think the easy fix is just Blizzard, just pause our timer when any animations happen. Just pause the game, and then you know how long these things are. So just add it to the time, or don't even pause it. Add it to the timer. Whenever someone plays something as animation, add that second and a half, add that 2 seconds, add that half second, whatever it is.
Or maybe like have, I don't know how difficult it would be from a programming standpoint, but like excessive actions being queued up, like have a threshold or something. Say when, like, for example, the Frothing Berserker, once you hit like say 4 queued action, just cancel all subsequent like, animations. So you only say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 16 attack. Yeah,
because that math is very quick as far as the client.
Oh
yeah.
They could have calculated, I guess, like that thing about 6,000 times by that point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the calculation's that quick if Blizzard did a good job programming, but
whoa, Tac2 is
shots fired.
Like a job.
Ooh, shots fired, no cards drawn.
And you still got a couple more quick shots in your hand just to buy some more shots later in the show.
No, I'm sure Blizzard
keep it going.
I'm sure Blizzard did a good job. I'm just trying to weasel my way into their team there. That's all it is. Blizzard, look me up. Look me up. I'll give you my digits, yo. Anyway, so that's the I guess the Grim Patron deck, or the I guess some people are calling it the goodness,
Cancer Warrior.
I don't think it's that bad, but that
I have heard it thrown around.
I was talking about the Warsong deck, Warsong Warrior, but
I think particularly when you see someone like Zixo, like only less than 8 hours into the EU season for May, was ranked like 3. It's just
good lord,
and he was streaming Patron Warrior. It's just like, well, this is dumb as shit.
8 hours? No, 8 hours in, he was already legend.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he hit legend with like 6 or 7 hours or something.
It's disgusting, isn't it? It's just
Yeah. The deck's unreal in the right hands.
Yeah. All right. So, any other classes of note for this past week?
Hunter made a revival. A lot of players were playing Hunters to rank 1 legend. If I'm Ira had a list and another guy whose name I can't recall. But basically they're all the same old mid-range hunter we've been talking about, just with slightly different tech choices. Normally in the secrets. Some play quick shot, some don't. Most finish off with Boom and High Main, Low Threat, Houndmasters. Just a very simple deck. This deck been coming back. I don't think it's very good right now. I feel like it's the matchup against Zoo is not favorable. I don't think it's like very bad, but it's not favorable at all. And it's bad against Face Hunter as well.
yeah. I was about to say you just shit on it with Face Hunter. It's
Exactly.
not-
And it
not
also
even a
gets
question.
it also gets mauled by what's the deck? Oil Roll. Because saps on your high main are like just like game losing.
Oh, that's brutal.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
Sap on High Main, sap on like Boom or Rag is just like just pack it in.
Yeah,
mate.
the
Just,
tempo
go
is crazy.
go back to Face Hunter.
The deck to me feels way too dependent on high main, Houndmaster, and Boom to work.
Yeah.
The rest of the cards like they're just Face Hunter cards trying to play mid rangey, but they don't trade very well. So yeah, I don't know.
I've always felt like playing High Main on 6 into a losing board, like particularly if you're playing against Zoo. If you go into turn 6 against Zoo and they've got 3 or 4 minions, you play Savannah High Mainer.
I'll just taunt up and ignore it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like I see that
Yeah.
on turn 6. This is fantastic. Same thing as seeing Boom on 7 when you've got a winning board. Say it's like, all right, I'll just ignore this. It's just
Yep.
I'm going to win this game more times by just ignoring the shit out of your your turn 7 and just going for the throat.
Yep.
Which I assume will be a hunter card at some point.
It's a magic card actually. Go for the throw. But anyway, moving back.
It's a talent in WoW. Oh, it used to be at least.
Oh, is it? Wow,
Yeah,
very common
it was-
phrase.
Yeah, people just keen for the jugular. It's just it's a very successful way of killing people. If you go for the throat, you're aiming for those vital veins and vessels and arteries.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to go.
it is indeed.
Right in the neck.
I don't have any other decks I want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Anyone else?
No.
Matt, Don, any other?
No,
I haven't really noticed anything else. I think we hit all the
Yeah,
all the ones I noticed.
except one segue alert.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that, we will end
Oh.
Meta-Anatomy and head into Deck of the Week. Be right
Play
back.
the hooks.
DRC would like to thank Brainiacs for their support of this podcast. If you have a tech idea for improving your business's workflow, Brainiacs can provide a turnkey solution to specifically fit your needs. You can contact them at www.brainiux.com. And welcome back. This is Deck of the Week. I am Tac2, joined by Terafasu, Avery, and Mushu. All right, so Dragadin, or otherwise known as Dragon Paladin, is this week's Deck of the Week. We've talked, I've tried to keep as much, keep us from talking too much about it during Meta-Anatomy. This is, I don't think it's a bad deck. So I guess the thing it revolves around the most, and you guys chime in, Dragon Consort, which is the 5/5 for 5 battlecry. Your next dragon costs 2 less, and it itself is a dragon.
Indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it necessarily revolves around it. It's just like another tool that
So
puts its head ahead of it.
So that's my story. I think that's the theme that one of the mechanics. One of my stories is when I first started playing this deck. I guess Thursday. I was probably 5 games into it. I played a game and I won. Sorry, I can't remember what I was playing against, but I had already drawn 15 cards and had not seen one dragon yet. And I think I'm running 1, 2, 5 in this deck, I think. And I still won because it still has some of the mid-range paladin options built into it. So you don't need the dragons to win, which is kind of odd. So it's almost this is the deck's fun and it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to think of it.
I was looking at the deck list you sent me before we started.
Yeah.
And in that particular deck, because it had so many legendaries in there, it was 8 dragons.
Okay.
That kind of made me think, like, where's the threshold? Like, how many dragons do you need for the dragon synergy to work properly?
30.
100%.
Well,
Dragon spells, Dragon Tyrion is my favorite card. I don't know about you guys. He looks much more badass with wings.
I just sent the list that I'm working on right now.
Oh,
I have a differing opinion, guys. I think this deck is pretty good.
No, I agree. Like, it's got.
Yeah.
I was looking at the deck list. It seems to have like a weak-ish kind of early game where you're just trying to get along, trying to make it to the mid game without like getting much harm. With like the zombie chows and shielded minibots.
Yep.
But
then on turn 3, you just dominate the board with Black Ring.
Yeah, and that's kind of It's like
that's where the game starts
the
spiraling
mid
in your
game's
favor.
pretty good. But
game's
my
insane.
first thought was like looking at the mid game cards. Because really you want that dragon consort in turn 5, right? And that as soon as you have that, and given you have a good board state, you're kind of skipping the mid game at that point. It's like you're just going straight to end game. It's like,
Yep.
yeah,
isn't that the idea? It's like
you almost
try to
have
ramp it up, and then
it's kind of like you get your end game. I don't know. It's kind of like getting 2 or 3 turn 7s, or 6s.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think the strength of the deck is in the mid game because you're not gonna ever, in any realistic sort of deck, play enough high costing dragons that Dragon Consort will reduce an expensive dragon to cheap enough to play early. You're gonna play maybe 2, maximum 3, right? So the cards that you're likely to be reducing the cost of tend to be mid game cards anyway. So like the mid game is where you're stronger. So like turn 5 Dragon Consort, turn 6 Azure Drake, or rather Blackwing Technician Azure Drake. Like that's just the kind of plays that you want to be doing. And that's where this deck would excel, the mid game. And Blackwing Corruptor is a card that does the best in the mid game because 3 damage is more relevant as early as possible rather than later on. So, like board wise, to settle like certain minions on the board that are very tricky to handle. So I feel the deck's very strong in the mid game. The thing about the deck that you
Sorry.
can go first. No, it's fine. You can go first.
No, there was one thing that I did notice, which was because it seems to be lacking Azure Drakes in the standard setup. It doesn't really have much card draw aside from Combagus.
Yeah, that was something I really noticed because Lay on Hand. Well, we already talked about Lay on Hands a little bit when we talked about Solemn Vigil. So I threw in a Solemn Vigil, and that's helped a little bit, but nothing. It's almost like I hate using Lay on Hands for card draw when I don't get the heal, but then you think about it, it's like, well, that means I'm probably ahead if I'm using it just for the card draw. So it's really not that bad, but
we have to think of the deck differently from the previous mid-range Paladin. It plays very, very differently. And I played, like, at a certain point in Hearthstone, I played a lot, like a shit ton of that mid-range Pally / control Pally that we all know very well, like the Master and Quartermaster mid-range Pally. I played a lot of it. And this deck plays extremely differently. It's not so much. It plays more like, I'm trying to think of like a very close comparison. This Paladin doesn't feel as controlly as the other version. It feels more like somewhere between a Druid and a mid-range hunter.
yes,
it's kind of the Paladin version of Ramp.
Yeah,
right?
it just minus the taunts unless you throw in like Defender Argus.
And that's why I'm thinking. It's like, which vulnerabilities does this deck have? And one of them that I came up with is maybe if it plays against taunt heavy decks because they'll just tank all the damage. It was like
your minions are big enough to break in. Like Hungry Dragon's huge. Blackwing Corruptor's big enough, Dragon Consort's big enough, and like your late game is big enough, definitely, right? The problem with the deck, to me, deck building wise, there are way too many 5-drops. That's the difficulty.
Yeah.
Because you can't, and like 5-drops are the most heavily contested slot in Hearthstone because those are where the best minions are. You can't play Belchers in this deck because you want to play your Dragon Consort, you want to play Blackwing Corruptor, you kind of want to play a Zerdrick for that draw potential. So like, and you may want to play Lothep as well, just like it's just a great card, and I'm sure no one needs to describe why Lothep's good, right? So you have to end up playing like Defender of Argus for your taunts in order to win your slightly more aggro matchups. In terms of where the weaknesses of the deck lie, this deck is terrible against Face Hunter.
Yeah,
It is not even-
that's what I see, and that's where I ended up as well. It's that it's probably very rushable. It's like
Yes.
if you
It
don't
is.
draw your limited removal, you're screwed. Like
It is very bad against Face Hunter. I think
Yeah.
it is better against Zoo. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree
Than
with
the
that.
previous mid-range value.
Yeah, I feel
Like, Corruptor is just like, it blows your mind how good it is against Zoo. It's crazy.
I feel like and I've added a couple things just for testing purposes, but I feel like you kind of want I'm not going to go over the whole list, but just a couple things. I've got one muster battle. I was running two. I didn't think two. I thought two was too much. Shield of Mindibot, I'm running two of those. So I'm just and then Consecrate I'm running two of, and Equality only one of right now. So it's almost like, in your first couple opening hands, you want to get the musters, your Shield of Mindibots, or your maybe True Silvers and your Consecrates. I threw in one of Holy Light and one of Seal of Light. And
Wow.
I think that's helped against
Sure.
the aggro decks a little bit, but I think it might hurt me. Well, it does hurt me, I think, a little bit in the,
see, and
the more
that's
end
the
games.
thing. Like there used to be a paladin deck that was straightly anti-aggro, like
Yeah.
the kind of Nitrodin kind of idea, where you had all these heals in there, lots
Yeah.
of them, and it sounds like you were trying to make a hybrid of those two. It's like try to get some of the benefit of having those clutch heals in there.
I think
Without-
Healbot's probably the best heal you want to play, right?
Yeah, that's like
It's the highest heal.
that's the thing though. Like this is not strictly an anti-aggro deck. It's not. It's very.
Yeah.
I think it's very it's very weak to rush. So.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe my version's worse probably against Face Hunter, because as you can see, I didn't bother at all with any form of heal. I just like went straight for like Dragon synergy. And like it was quite interesting hearing you describe your perfect curve, because my perfect curve is somewhat different. Like I want turn 1 Chow, turn 2 Minibot, turn 3 Technician. I want to like just my deck build is just all in dragons. I just want to like go full in into the dragon plan. My finishers are because the listeners can't see, right? My finishers are Nefarian and Nisera. Nefarian, okay lah. I admit that when I put it in, it was just to try out in place of Chromagus. I can easily see Chromagus being better for this deck because you can turn 5 Consort, turn 6 Chromagus.
Oh, that's
What
so
do you think?
good.
What do you think about Onyxia? Because you get all those tokens.
You're probably gonna have a bot anyway, so I don't think Onyxia's
Yeah,
any use.
I saw people trying to run that too. I don't like the Onyxia add-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow, why do I not have Big Game Hunter in this? I had it, but it looks like I cut it out for some.
I was able to
reason.
throw one of in.
Also,
Yeah.
another thought that I have is like, is it possible to deny this game its ramping potential? Like this deck, like if you were to, for example, I don't know, assassinate the dragon consorts, would that help?
No,
No.
the battle cry
It's-
sticks
it's-
anyway, right?
Yeah, it
it's,
does.
It's not a persistent effect this year. It's just
Oh
the
yeah,
next
yeah,
one.
that's true. Oh.
As you said before, the only sort of shit thing about this deck is it's quite susceptible to Face Hunter. It's
Yes.
not, and the reason it does well against Zoo and like probably even Mech Mage is because of like the board trading state is like you've got your Blackwing Corruptors and stuff to trade, and even the Blackwing Technicians will trade so favorably with anything in Zoo and anything in Mech Mage with the buff. It's just so like ahead of the curve. But
There's
Yeah,
one matchup
the-
that this deck. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
oh yeah, I was just gonna come back and say the only reason it's crap against Face Hunter is because A, no heal, and B, it's got like limited taunts. You're relying on Argus eventually,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
There's one matchup that this deck is much better than the predecessor in Oil Road, because your minions are so much larger and more irritating. In the early games of the previous mid-range Paladin, you tend to be like durdling around and like playing like musters, and you're afraid the muster gets fan of knives, and like you play what? Pineapple Shredder, but they can get deadly poisoned into SI or something ridiculous, right? Every minion kind of sucks against Oil Rope. But this Dragon Pally, every minion is crazy against Oil Rope. On turn 3, Blackwing Technician, pretty hard to clear. Hungry Dragon is like the Oil Rope enemy. There's nothing they can do about it. You got Corruptor to kill their 3/3s. Which is why I kind of want to fit Looted in, because I want to like seal that matchup for this deck and make sure this matchup is like completely unwinnable for them.
I think you can.
yeah.
I think you can drop Black Knight almost.
I think so as well. Yeah, it's been doing much recently.
It's like you'll be laughing the one time you play against Ramp and they drop, the war. And it's like, bitches. But the rest of the time, but the rest of the time, as you said, as you probably have come to the conclusion, it seems like it's pretty easy to get around Sludge Belchers with these heavy hitting minions.
Mm-hmm. But okay, segue alert. You all agree that Black Knight's a pretty good card, right?
Yeah, I mean, depending on the meta, yeah.
And because of the value you get, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see, even a Belcher, you 6 mana, a Belcher.
I can see where he's going.
Oh yeah, he's baiting me in. All right, we've been flirting around with it.
That one's a good card.
Let's just go ahead and air it out. So Rend Blackhand. We've talked a little bit offline about this, you and me, Avery. Let's go ahead and duke it out, because I'm coming around to that camp after, especially even watching streams. Nice. I'm seeing some value from it. What's the deal? Where's its strength at?
There are many reasons why I think this card. Okay, I don't think it's insane in a dragon deck. I think it's good, and there is a chance it might not be in a deck, in a version of a dragon deck. But I think it's good enough to warrant inclusion almost 70 to 80% of the time. That's my estimate of the card. Okay, so the reasons why it's good. Firstly, anytime you have a card that can kill something and put something into play, it's always tempo, swing, game-changing card advantage value, whatever you want to use, right? Flame Elemental, Blackwing Corruptor, Black Knight, Harrison Jones. All these cards remove something and give you a minion body, right? And in over Hearthstone, we've acknowledged that if I can get enough value off a card, I can afford the stats of the minion to be lousier if the battle cry is worth it. So for example, Fire Alley, I get 3 damage, but I get a 6/5 body instead of the 6/7 that it could be, which is Bolt of His Ogre. With Black Knight, sometimes I have nothing Black Knight and I just have a Chewing Yeti for 6 mana, and that's overcosted. But the chance that I get to hit a taunt for that extra 2 mana that I have to pay is worth it. Harrison Jones, a 5 mana 5/4 is by no means good enough for competitive constructed, but if I can hit a weapon and draw cards off of it, it becomes worth it, right? So what's the body that we have we're talking about here? It's a 7 mana 8/4. How much is an 8/4 worth? Maybe what? 5 mana, 4.5 mana, somewhere in that range. And
maybe
you're paying. So you're paying 2.5 to 3 mana extra to maybe kill a legend, right? So and we need to recognize that in Hearthstone constructed scene now, every deck runs so many legends. And the beauty of the card is that it says legend. It's in some sense stronger than Big Game Hunter, because you can clear things that Big Game Hunter can't. You can clear Lothar, you can clear Taurasian.
Do you feel like if this card had existed way back when the game first came out, and seeing a legendary was a rare sight, this would have been a no-brainer. You just wouldn't include this guy because his vanilla stats are awful. But now that everyone's net decking with the legendaries,
now that the game has progressed to a point where legends are commonplace. This card is crazy. And I heard this on the cast a few weeks back. Matt was saying, this is the Taurasian counter, right? I think
to a degree, yeah.
I was probably dumping on it and then saying you can counter Taurasian on it.
Yeah, you said it can beat Taurasian, but other than that, it's shit. That's basically what you said.
I will confirm that's probably what I said.
Yeah, well, 5 health. I mean, that's a good health amount. It's not impossible.
Full health.
No, I'm sorry. I meant Thorson. So your Thorsons, your Lotheb. 5 health isn't super terribly difficult to remove. But,
but let's think about it. You're killing a 5/5 and you're gaining an 8/4.
Yeah. So I'll get to that in a second. Sure. I think the cards that popped in my head that I was like, okay, what are some legendaries that are pretty difficult to remove? And so Chromagus, that people play a lot of. Chromagus, Kel'Thuzad, Ysera.
Kel'Thuzad, yeah. Ysera, yes.
You know, anything that's under 7 health attack and then has a lot of health. So those are the cards where I'm thinking, yeah, man, that's actually really strong. Now, what you said is, all right, so you can play an 8/4 for 7 mana and maybe kill a legendary. My argument is you could maybe kill, because not only does there have to be a legendary on the board, but you also have to have a dragon in your hand. That's the kind of the kicker for me. That's what makes me go, there's some cards where I can say, oh, that's an excellent counter to it, but I don't know if I've changed my mind. I don't think it's a completely horrible card. I just don't think it's not at Dr. Boom or Loatheb level for me.
If it just killed a legendary minion, no matter what, if you had a dragon or not, it would be amazing.
It would be OP.
That would be
hell.
So make it a 9 mana card, you know?
Also, like the thing that like that sort of brought me around starting to think there are some situations where this is okay, is you start to look at, obviously, where you were talking about things like Kel'Thuzad and Ysera being targets. Now, obviously, they're not in 100% of decks, but things like Loatheb, Dr. Boom, Thaurissan, they're all in most decks. And
they're
so
pretty
that's
much
like
everywhere,
yeah, that's 5, 6, and 7. That's 3 turns where on curve they'll be playing a legendary, and where removing it on turn 7, or removing it for 7 mana will be relevant. And
also, the thing about Ren, because the typical other counter argument to Ren is that there are a lot of legends that you don't want to just kill straight out because of the effect. So like Sylvanas, right? Or Tyrion. But these are cards that you're going to have problems dealing with anyway. There's no card that properly deals with them. Ren gives you a way to like the typical way to deal with Sylvanas and Tyrion is to silence them, right? But after you silence them, the body's still insane. Now you have a way to kill it after you silence it, because you can rend it, because it's still a legend even after you silence it, you see? So the value is still there for you to take, even like, because there's no card that can perfectly answer Tyrion or perfectly answer Sylvanas. If there were, the card would be broken.
There's a combination that I like to call the old Malagos Earthshock combo, removing a Sylvanas, where I just Earthshock the Sylvanas for 6 and then carry on winning the game. But yeah,
you know my favorite combo to stop Tyrion? When I'm playing Control Warrior, it's the Crow Taskmaster BGH Harrison Jones. That's like my dream.
Yeah.
And you get it like semi-often, it's insane. You can't lose that game.
Well fought, I concede.
Yeah. Like they hang out for like 5 more minutes, they realize they're out of like
everything.
They use their boom, they use the Tyrion, they're completely out of gas, and they just like concede early. They can't win the game.
But then they play Ran Blackhand to destroy your Harrison and start getting back the tempo.
Exactly. That's why. So it's like, the thing about Ren is like, we're talking about all these different situations and like, it could be good, but it's all of these situations in one card, right? And the argument that there might not be enough, you might not have a dragon in your hand, right? Then like obviously you only play this in a dragon deck, and in a dragon deck, like you're going to probably have a dragon in your hand most of the time.
Yeah.
So now the interesting question is, how many dragons do you need to play?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
What I'm asking myself is, does the dragon deck itself need this kind of removal? Like, does it have problems dealing with legendaries?
I think
honestly that's a misnomer. If this card did not say a dragon and it just said kill a legend, every single deck in Hearthstone would play this card.
Yeah.
I mean, that would go up to 7 mana.
You'd have to make it a 9 or 10 mana, and even then, I would, I don't know, if it was 10 mana, would you still play it? You know.
10 mana 8/4 maybe no, but like 9 mana 8/4 I would definitely consider playing it.
Yeah, sure, because then at that point it's an 8/4 body plus an inbuilt assassinate for legendaries.
Sure.
which is what it is in a dragon deck, guaranteeing if you have it, provided if you have enough dragons, and it's even cheaper than 9 mana. It's 7, right? So
Yeah.
I guess how many dragons do y'all think like this deck needs?
That's a good question. And I think a lot of people are trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think personally, my number, I'm currently running. Wait, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm running 7 dragons. It's not a lot. It is enough most of the time. Most of the time I don't have problems proccing like my stuff on turn 3 and turn 4. It's only like turn 6 onwards that it starts getting a bit nasty because like I kind of ran out of the dragons because I played them already. Because the bulk of my dragons
kind of use them.
Yeah, like Hungry Dragon turn 4 and oh shit, now my Corruptor doesn't have anything. And like when you draw your consort, you can't play a consort, you gotta play a Corruptor first, which I guess makes it such that I don't really have enough dragons and I should play more than 7. But I think it's at the point where it's 7. I think maybe 8 to 9 is a good number. Like a very, very safe number. 7 is on the slightly lower side. That's roughly where I think the count should be. Like 8 or 9 is very safe to trigger all the effects that you want.
Yeah.
An interesting thing about the deck though is that the mulligan stage becomes a lot more exciting because you kind of want to have a dragon in your hand to make sure you can proc your Blackwing tech on the early turns. So what am I going to mulligan if I'm going first and I have a Blackwing tech and a let's make it worst case scenario and I have an Issera. Will you show the Issera? Like you kind of want a dragon in your hand to proc everything, right? But then having an Issera in your hand at the start of the game feels kind of retarded. So
yeah, it's
more
not
decisions.
So if you mulligan and you get something like you, Sarah, it's not the end of the world because now you have a dragon to I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
So it makes it better. It makes a bad situation better, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. It's not the end of the world.
But just having a good curve in the first place would be a better situation overall. So.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
But your curve is only good if you can guarantee you have a dragon, right? Like if you Blackwing tech turn 3, that's a good curve. No, what I was saying is it makes an easy situation hard.
Okay, so the problem is your curve, if you don't have a dragon, is kind of sucky. So you actually need a dragon to make it good. Yeah.
Depends on the matchup, lah. I mean, like if I play against Druid, I would probably go a bit greedier. If I'm like try and like keep a dragon. If I'm playing against like Hunter or Zoo, you can't be greedy. You have to just find your Chows and your mini-bots and your Peacekeepers in early plays. So
how important do you think the Chow is? I don't like running zombie Chow.
I think it's pretty important.
You think so? Okay. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think at least single Chow. A double may be slightly excessive. I like it because I can guarantee a play on turn 1 and 2, so I can make sure that I can definitely clear whatever comes out of Hungry Dragon. That's why I play double.
That's true.
If you're only running one Chow, like the chances of not getting it are so high that you might as well consider not playing it at all.
It depends. What is it? It's a 25% chance with the mulligan phase to get one. Is that math correct?
No idea, man.
Really?
I don't play Hearthstone with any man.
One.
When you run one, because I'm gonna have to relook at that math again. With the mulligan phase.
I mean, like arguing that I play one copy of a card. Like if I want to have it, if I want to have it all the time, I would definitely play 2, right?
See, and that's what I do. The thing. Like I can understand running tech cards, only running one of them because they're situational. But like Zombie Chow seems to be, for me at least, seems to be more than just a tech card. It seems to be one of the 2 ways you ensure not completely losing the early game.
It's a tech card against aggro decks.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Like,
would you say?
Yeah.
Would you say there's a chance of not losing the early game if you didn't have it?
Is there a chance I don't lose?
No.
Yes, I won't lose my. Yes, there's a chance I don't. If I can hit turn 2 minibot or coin turn 2 minibot or coin turn 1 minibot, then I don't think I will lose my early game at all. But I just, the reason I'm playing like double Chow, double minibot, I don't play Master for Battles. So
okay. I got you.
Like I kind of got some extra slots because I don't play master. I guess maybe I should try one master because it's good synergy with the Drake and the Solemn Vigil. But
Yeah.
it just feels a bit like out of place. I just wanted to try like the most all-in dragon deck I could and see how
Okay.
good it works, and it's been working pretty well.
See, because the dragon I was looking at, like this second idea of sacking in tokens to make your
Drake.
in-hand effects cheaper,
Hmm.
seemed to be like the second crucial element to the whole idea. So
It's a bit too situational for me. Like if I'm losing, my hand is like 2 Solemn Vigil, 2 Volcanic Drake, then like, like what am I supposed to do? That's kind of like why I wouldn't play like more than one copy of those cards, because they demand very much of the board state in order for them to be great. So I wouldn't play 2 of them. Yeah. The Hungry Dragon RNG though. The thing that comes out of it.
So
it's pretty funny.
Keep talking. I actually found a good article on that. So
On what? Hungry Dragon RNG?
just the a lot of things around the dragon in deck.
Okay.
Maybe on my phone.
I'll just...
Yeah, well, I'll find it. We'll come back to that.
Okay, cool. So all in all, I think Ren, like my personal opinion, Ren is great for the deck. It should be in the deck. And another plus side is that the reason why I'm also playing the Nefarian and not playing Chromagus, the argument against Chromagus is it can't get BGH. But Nefarian can get BGH, but I'm willing to play Nefarian because I'm playing Ren. Because people want to BGH Ren first. And I'm also playing Boom. So I have like 3 BGH targets. And like they're very likely to use them early on one of them and then the other 2 stick. So yeah. That's the rationale behind playing Nefarian. Like just trying to be a bit more greedy with my end game rather than like playing a card that it looks safe but actually doesn't do a lot. Which is my opinion of Nefarian, Chromagus. Yeah. I like this build, man. I like the deck. I think it's strong. Like, obviously we haven't found like a tuned version of the deck yet. It's kind of like playing an untuned mid-range Pally. Like, imagine like you never had an opportunity to look at what decks the pros ran, and you had to build your own mid-range Pally. It would be clunky as hell, right? And it would be like kind of weird to play. That's where the Dragon deck is now, because no one's found like a great version of it yet. It's still kind of in the works. But when playing it, I can feel the potential. The Hungry Dragon is strong. The Corruptor is insane. The Consort allows for 6 turn 7, turn 8 situations. The Ren Black Can generates a lot of value. I have endgame with Ysera or Nefarian. And also Ysera gives you Emerald Drake, which is also a dragon, which allows you to proc your dragon things. But anyway, yeah, the deck just feels like it has a lot of potential, and I'm very happy to keep working on it.
It's just cool that it exists. It's like,
yeah, it's so cool.
It's like Hearthstone has felt so stale for its first year, and now in this kind of second year, quote unquote, it's just there's just so many new archetypes popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
Which I find just in general is very.
It's refreshing. It makes
nice.
it worse for competitive players though. I had this problem recently actually. I was playing in a tournament and basically I was telling the guys this earlier. Basically it's a best of 3 conquests or best of 5 depending on which stage of the tournament you're at, like early on or later. And later is best of 5 and earlier rounds is best of 3. And it's not like you just bring 3 decks. You have to draft the decks. So the first guy will get to pick 1 deck. The second guy will get to pick 2 decks. They'll go back to the first guy again. He'll get to pick 2 decks, and the second guy will get the last choice of the deck. And you can repeat decks that your opponent picked, right? Like most of the times when I was starting second, the first guy will go Druid, and I would go Warlock Rogue as my response. Like I was a very set way of playing it after I played it enough times, like the format. And if I were going first, I would go Druid because I feel comfortable with Druid, and I would just follow on and like across many opponents, a rhythm kind of developed because most people would pick and counter pick the same things. So like I kind of knew exactly what I was doing, and I built this rhythm So I didn't have to focus on the picks, and I knew how to counter pick. I would focus on my play, which helped me get quite fine at tournament. But the guy that I eventually lost to, he first picked mage, and I got completely thrown off because I was like, because firstly no one did that before that point at that point in the tournament, and I was like, what could this mage be? It could be tempo mage, which druid is bad against. It could be freeze mage, which hunter is bad against. It could be mech mage, which hunter is good against, but druid is bad against, and zoo is decent against. And like just all the matches are completely different for mage. And the flex and like I just had no idea what kind of mage he was playing, and it led me to kind of screw up my drafting stage. And I had
he basically figured out how to hack the system.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
He just went for a deck that he's comfortable with, and yeah, he just like wrecked me because I made a dumb mistake of picking warrior because I thought my lineup was weak to freeze mage, but actually it was far weaker to what he was playing, mech mage. So yeah, it was just a nightmare. I got destroyed by him. Kudos.
I've learned the hard way. I don't think you've heard the story of like I lost a final series in a tournament with to mech mage, and yeah, I think it's always whenever it's like when on ladder when you're playing against the warlock, it's safer to assume that it's
a faster deck.
Yeah, that it's a faster deck, that it's zoo than it's handlock. So I think I'm of the mindset that it's better to assume that it's mech mage than the other two, because I think the other two you have a better chance to catch up. Whereas if you mulligan wrong against and it's mech mage, then you're cooked. Rather than if you mulligan wrong against freeze mage, you still have quite a few turns to catch up. And even with tempo, you still have more time to catch up than if you mulligan wrong against mech mage.
That's true. I agree with that analysis. And the best are the cards that work in both scenarios, right?
Yeah.
So for like Paladin, it would be Elder Peacekeeper. You would love it. If you would say you're playing against Warlock, you would love it both against Handlock, Demon Lock, or Zoolock. For Druid, it would be Keeper of the Grove. You can silence like a Twilight Drake. Or you can kill something for 2. Yeah. Like the best cards to keep in those situations are the very flexible ones that can be used in any situation.
Okay, so yeah, I feel we've gotten quite far away from talking about Dragadin. But,
anyway, I'm done with what I want to say.
It's all incarnations of relevant.
No, yeah, that's true.
Concepts. It's like this is Dragon. This is how we play against Dragon. This is how we play against the things that play against Dragon, and this is what it looks like in a tournament. And then we realized, hang on, Dragon's about 20 meters back that way.
Well,
let's turn around, boys.
I found the site I was looking for when we were talking about Hungry Dragon and what some of the percentages are to get, or for your opponent to get a certain card. DisguisedToast.com. I saw this the other day and I found it really interesting.
What a great name.
Is it called?
Yeah.
Disguised Toast?
It's disguised. Like I'm in disguise.
Yeah. You can't tell I'm a toast.
Wait, I saw it the other day. I saw this YouTube channel. I laughed so loud.
It's a Hearthstone pun. It's a pun on what one of the cards says.
Who says it? I can't recall.
Oh yeah, I saw it. And
no, it's this guy's toast.
Their, I play Hearthstone hashtag, and they retweeted it. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Just
is it a? Oh, it's SI Agent. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So he's got some really cool graphics that she whoever it is puts it up. He's got a list here for Hungry Dragon 1-cost minion odds. And it's just interesting things like, for example, there's an 8.3%, it'll be a taunt. And then he's got some of the either percentages that the minion that spawns will be of 0, 1, 2, 3 attack, or 1, 2, 3, or 4 health. And it's really interesting because it's like a 56%, 56.8, it'll be a 1 attack minion, or a 54.8% chance it'll be a 1 health minion. So it's kind of, it's interesting to look at that, and you really start to see the value of Hungry Dragon, in my opinion, when you start to see those numbers. Just how good of a card it is.
Also, by the way, Matt, if you scroll a bit lower, there's the Ren Black and popular targets. There's non-BGHable.
Yeah, sure. I like the low Arcacho one.
Wow. Kappa.
Yeah.
I think killing Sneeds is kind of greedy.
Yeah, I agree.
Killing Sneeds would be hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like Sneeds and Sylvanas need to be taken off of that list, but that's just my opinion.
Very, very greedy. Ysera's great value.
Oh,
You can get
Ysera,
Ysera.
Archmage. I didn't even think about Archmage. That's great value.
Yeah, neither did I. It's great.
I didn't even think about him. Yeah, especially with
Dude,
the
Mal'Ganis, or even like or Jiraxis that's popped out of a Bane of Doom, or like from a Void Caller.
Oh wow, yeah.
Mm.
It's
crazy.
like 15 health doesn't mean anything, motherfucker. You're dead.
Oh, I love the Dragon King Sorcerer like compilation page.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You can
That-
actually look at how this works now.
It's I don't like all the combos. I guess it's just decent possibilities. I don't know. Yeah. So that's unless you guys have something else to say, that is Dragon Paladin. Any other thoughts? Forever hold your peace.
I think the deck still needs a lot of work to find the best version. But I stand by Ren Blacken always. I think it's a very good card. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I really think the card's really good.
Well, the shit thing about I guess competitive play at the moment is because it's Conquest, that no one's just gonna blow through a tournament with Dragon Paladin because you have to play 3 different decks now. You can't just win a series 3-0 with this amazing Dragon Paladin deck that no one has ever seen before. So might actually stifle creation a little bit. Well, just testing at least at a competitive level. But we'll see. We'll wait for someone to hit rank 1 NAEU Legend and then copy paste from Hearthstone and do the same.
Hey, no copy pasta. Come on, no copy pasta. Ain't got time for that.
I'm all about the copy pasta. The coffee pasta with the mustard.
Mustard quarter pounder.
Mustard for cattle. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Mustard for cattle.
And you have those with disguised toast.
Yeah,
and some disguised toast.
Yeah, I'll have a side of disguised toast.
Sounds delicious.
Oh my!
I feel like we need to have a
So
Maz on.
brilliant.
We need to have a Maz on the show with all these little things he does too, like pointy, Billy.
Girl, oh girl.
Oh,
Wait,
the grills.
Do we win?
Yeah. Wait, do we win? Oh goodness. All right. Well, so that's deck of the week, and we'll be right back. All right, and that's our show for this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tac2, joined by Dawn, Avery, and Mushu. Don't forget, you can find us at www.deathrattlecrew.com. You can email us at mail@deathrattlecrew.com. We're on YouTube and Twitter. Just look up Death Rattle Crew. You got it. Information on the next pit is going to be going up tomorrow, Sunday, depending on when you pick up this podcast. So stay tuned for that. And it is going to be on May 30th is when it's actually going to take place. This one's going to be a little different than the last one we did. And if you haven't seen that video, you can go find it on YouTube there. Other than that, guys, thank you for showing up again. And we will see you all next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Disguised toast.
This guy's toast. I like
This
it.
guy's toast.
I really like it.
Man, if he has t-shirts, I want one.
That's probably one of those MLG Dank videos I see. This guy is toast. Wah, wah, wah. Oh my God, Mom, get the camera. Oh my God.
Illuminati.
Wow.